standards. Former President George W. Bush will receive a prestigious leadership prize from the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library Foundation. Foundation announcing late yesterday that the former president will receive the 2019 Lincoln Leadership Prize during a ceremony April 1st in Chicago. And there is another recount being sought in an Illinois election where there is a one-vote margin. Macon County Clerk's Office certified final results, giving Democrat candidate Tony Brown 19,655 votes to Republican Jim Root's 19,654 votes. Brown and Root are both lieutenants in the Sheriff's Department. They're seeking to replace a fairly famous guy, Howard Buffett, son of billionaire investor Warren Buffett, who became interim sheriff last year when the previous sheriff retired. DeMar DeRozan had 21, leading the Spurs over the Bulls, 108-107. Zach LaVine missed a last-second three-pointer, but did net a game-high 28. Lauri Markkanen could be close to making his season debut with the Bulls. He's back at full practice later today. Blackhawks welcoming the Golden Knights to the UC. Fighting Illini men's basketball set to take on Notre Dame on the road tonight in the ACC Big Ten 10 Challenge. And we've been looking forward to this one for a long time. It's the big rematch, Loyola and 6th-ranked Nevada. The News is a service of Napa. From now through December, Napa is having its biggest holiday sale ever with hundreds of items at their best prices of the year. Items like a 26-piece screwdriver set for only $17.99. Quality parts, helpful people, that's Napa know-how, while supplies last. 5:07 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
In the last 2 years, this president somehow managed to defeat the mainstream media and the forces of darkness on the left. He managed to get 2 strong judges in the Supreme Court. He turned around a bad economy and put millions back to work. He rebuilt the military, saved sick veterans. He beat back the Islamic terrorists known as ISIS. But these victories are hanging by a thread. Now the real fight begins to keep those gains and get more. It's not time to let up now. Find out what needs to be done. Stick with this station to know more. AM 560, The Answer.
You know I love MyPillow and how it's changed how I sleep. Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. And when I heard about the new MyPillow mattress topper, I couldn't wait to try it. Now, I don't know if I love MyPillow or the MyPillow mattress topper more. It's that good. And now you can get a great deal on a MyPillow mattress topper and start getting the best sleep of your life. The exclusive 3-layer design includes MyPillow foam for support, traditional foam to help relieve pressure points, and an ultra-soft patent temperature regulating cover. It has a 10-year warranty and a cover that's washable and dryable. It's made in the USA, and it's backed by Mike Lindell's 60-day money-back guarantee. You'll get the total body support you need to sleep better. So here's the deal. Right now, you'll save 30% when you use promo code Amy, plus you'll receive 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. So visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Promo code Amy.
Let's think about customization presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual customizes your auto insurance so you only pay for what you need. So why aren't more things in life customizable? Why isn't a burger cheaper when you ask for no onions? I don't want them, so shouldn't you deduct the price of the onions, right? Otherwise, I'm paying for the onions, but I'm not receiving any onions.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer.
Protecting data across modern decentralized networks presents challenges that traditional backup solutions can't handle. At best, you'll waste time and money managing multiple solutions. At worst, gaps in coverage will leave your data vulnerable. Barracuda Backup is a single cloud-integrated solution that simplifies the backup process and allows data replication to anywhere on your network, a private cloud, Barracuda's cloud, or to the AWS public cloud. Reclaim your data. Try Barracuda Backup free at barracuda.com/backup.
Give the gift for everyone you love with a DNA kit from 23andMe. This holiday season, go to 23andme.com/gift and get 30% off each kit. Offer ends December 25th.
5:10. Check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. And here is Jim Talamonte.
On Chicago's west side division at Kedzie, police are responding to a reported shooting. Still closures in Bartlett. Army Trail is closed yesterday. In 59 at Petersdorf, fallen power cables. Munger is closed. Forest Preserve Drive at Stearns, a fallen tree. Northwest Indiana traffic slow on westbound 8094 Grant Burr. There's road work, 3 left lanes scheduled till 6. Indiana Toll Road exit southbound I-65 closed till next summer. See delays on inbound I-57 Holstead to the Merge, Fishport Cottage Grove to the Rhine. That's due to overnight construction. The other expressways and tollways are looking good. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cold this morning, cloudy. We'll have a few flurries out there, then clouds and sun this afternoon, a high only of 25. Clear to partly cloudy and bitterly cold, low of 12 above overnight and 27. Tomorrow, 22 at O'Hare, 24 along the lakefront, 22 at Midway, and your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Trump down in Mississippi yesterday rallying for Cindy Hyde-Smith, the Republican senator in the special election today in Mississippi, facing former Clinton-era Ag Secretary Mike Espy. Such an interesting matchup. Hyde-Smith, a Democrat turned Republican, who's being accused, and I think unfairly, of racism. And Mike Espy, who was African-American former congressman in addition to Ag Secretary from Mississippi, who had to step down as Ag Secretary under a cloud of controversy of alleged ethics violations.
Well, why is nobody talking about that? I have not heard that once besides with you on this show. And I think you mentioned it off air yesterday, and now, you know.
Yeah, it is interesting. He left for allegedly improperly taking gifts as Ag Secretary. He was later indicted.
Oh.
The subject of a federal indictment. Now, he was acquitted of those charges. So, okay, fair enough. But, I mean, that's not exactly a background without controversy. And, you know, he's not a centrist in the sort of new Democrat era that Clinton ushered in, right? The DLC era of, you know, moderate Democrats. That's not really Mike Espy. The flip side of that, though, is in Mississippi, he has
supported Republican candidates, right?
He crossed party lines to support Haley Barbour's reelection for governor, for example. Look, I think the smart money, the overwhelming money, frankly, is on Cindy Hyde-Smith. It just doesn't appear it's going to be a repeat of Roy Moore in Alabama. But it is a race that more attention is being paid to than one would otherwise think necessary, considering Trump enjoys a 60% approval rating right now. Normally, we're talking about what the vote total Trump piled up against Hillary Clinton in these red states. No.
Yeah,
I'm talking about Trump's approval rating right now is 60%.
Right. Mike Espy was on one of the cable stations, said, look, I know I need the African-American vote, but I need independent voters, and I'm welcoming Republicans.
I'm sure he
as
is.
well, because
yeah.
Sometimes I can vote Republicans. I can go across party lines and, you know, do what's best for Mississippi. And I thought, he was very diplomatic. He was good. He was very smooth yesterday.
Yeah, some late
and then they had
last-minute pandering.
Then they had 2 nooses that were hanging from outside of the state capitol.
Probably put there by Mike Espy.
Well,
yeah, exactly. Last-ditch effort to try and stage this upset, which I don't think is going to happen. But again, to the attention being paid, Trump was down in Mississippi, and one of the stops, Tupelo.
You mean Tupelo?
Uh-huh.
Well, do you say Tupelo? I say Tupelo. Like
I'm
Tupelo
from the north,
zero.
so I say Tupelo.
Well, I used to live on the south side, so Tupelo.
The south side of Mount Prospect. Yeah.
Bartlesville, but it's El Paso. It's all right.
And Trump in Tupelo just couldn't help falling in love with himself.
We love Elvis. I shouldn't say this. You'll say I'm very conceited because I'm not. But other than the blonde hair, when I was growing up, they said I looked like Elvis. You see that? Did you believe it? I always consider that a great compliment. We love Elvis, don't we? In fact, we just gave Elvis the Medal of Freedom Award at the White House.
Young Elvis in the White House.
You know, I knew President Trump looked like somebody, and I couldn't figure it out, but now I know it was Elvis all along. It was him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're both. I mean, puffy Elvis, old Elvis,
when he was
on the driveway home Elvis, or young, spry, hot Elvis.
I think more a jumpsuit Elvis at this stage, but it's a little device Trump uses. People forget that when he visited Chicago, he said that a lot of people told him he looked like a young buddy guy. So that's just one of the things that he says when he travels the country.
Yeah. You know who else looks like Elvis? Oh, no. You know who else looks
Chris
like
Isaac.
No, Rob Blagojevich.
You know, my hands are shaky, my knees are weak, I can't seem to stand on my own 2 feet.
Oh, it's...
No, he doesn't look like Elvis. Neil Diamond, Jewish Elvis. Rob Blagojevich, not Croatian Elvis. He's Croatian, right?
Serbian.
Serbian.
Oh, please.
Boy, now
you've done it. Now, what are you going to call Bosnian next? I
not
mean, really.
Serbian. I forget. It's been a while, and I want to forget. Not a Serbian Elvis, Rob Blagojevich. But the issue of the day yesterday was not Trump's youthful resemblance, question mark, to Elvis. It was, it was two things. It's the layoffs at GM, which we'll get to, but it's the caravan. And before Trump left for Tupelo, he addressed the issue of the use of tear gas to break up those trying to illegally enter the border, across the border over the weekend.
Are you comfortable tear gassing children like what we saw before?
They're not, as you know, they're not. They had to use because they were being rushed by some very tough people, and they used tear gas. And here's the bottom line. Nobody's coming into our country unless they come in legally.
There's the bottom line. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The issue the left raised yesterday, ACLU, the press corps, I repeat myself, was the use of tear gas to break up those crowds that were attempting to cross the border. And it was the feeling, and we'll hear from the chief Border Patrol agent for the San Diego sector after a while. But it was the belief that Border Patrol was in physical harm's way, and so that was the use of tear gas. But this is the issue the left was making. So did you find it to be excessive, the decision to use tear gas to disperse the crowds at the border? Take your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
If you're like most people and you see two gas stations and one sells gas for a little bit less, you go to that one. It just makes sense. Every little bit helps. But here's what's weird, though. Sometimes we save a few pennies here and there and ignore opportunities to save huge money, life-changing money. If you switch to Medi-Share for your health care, it could be massive savings for you. The typical savings for a family is $500 a month. Think what you could do with that over time. Just doing the math, that's $6,000 a year. That is significant. And yes, people love it, and they love it because it works. It's believers who share each other's healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people are now members of Medi-Share, and it's growing like crazy. Find out how much you could save and why Medi-Share is so popular. Go to Medishare.com or call 855-BIBLE-11. That's 855-BIBLE-11. Medishare.com or 855-BIBLE-11.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Arizona's Republican Governor Doug Ducey earned 44% of the Latino vote en route to his easy re-election. No hand recount for Governor-elect Ron DeSantis in Florida, who garnered 44% of the Latino vote and 14% of the black vote. The 400,000 Florida kids and 260,000 Arizona kids who benefit from school choice, the majority from minority families, are reshaping the GOP's electoral coalitions in those states. White guilt author Shelby Steele argues this occurrence is more than a powerful argument for school choice. It's a messaging imperative for conservatives. As Steele told me, black families have moved beyond the idealism of the civil rights era to search for pragmatic answers to economic concerns the welfare state not only failed to address, but worsened. By contrast, Champaign socialists in the leafy suburbs are in search of a moral calling. The Black Lives Matter yard sign in the lawn of your local Mayflower descendant should have been a tip-off. Bottom line, we've been making the wrong arguments to the wrong constituents. Fiscal conservatism has limited appeal to the vanguard class, as does pantomiming Al Sharpton with minority families. For the latter, it's money they lack. For the former, to borrow from James Earl Jones and Field of Dreams, it's money they have and peace they lack.
Tasty Catering invites you to come together this holiday season and celebrate with great food and great company.
Since 1989, Tasty Catering has been planning memorable holiday office parties all over Chicagoland and bringing your team together this year in the spirit of the season.
Their delicious holiday menu at tastycatering.com features all the amazing appetizers and entrees, savory side dishes, and decadent desserts that you'll need for the ideal holiday office party.
From elegant plated dinners to casual company buffets and festive cocktail hours.
Stop by their Elk Grove Village Kitchen and meet their award-winning catering family and sample some of their new and classic holiday menu dishes.
The experienced holiday events team is ready to take you step by step through the planning process, simply and stress-free.
Don't delay. Call Tasty Catering at 847-593-2000 or view the holiday menu online at tastycatering.com.
That's 847-593-2000. tastycatering.com. Holidays. Gather, eat, and enjoy together.
Lake County Right to Life is looking for like-minded people to help save lives, to support women, mothers and fathers, unborn babies, families, and the elderly. Can you help? Lake County Right to Life takes an active part in both the educational and lobbying aspects of the Right to Life movement. They recognize the need to become actively involved in electing pro-life, pro-family legislators and formed the Lake County PAC to elect local Lake County candidates who support life-affirming legislation on your behalf. Legislation that saves thousands of lives and doesn't impose on you, the taxpayer, for the lesser good. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but it takes all of us working together to accomplish a society that celebrates life and protects our most vulnerable. For donations or information about educating the public concerning current life issues and legislations, go to the Lake County Right to Life website, lcrtl.org. That's lcrtl.org. You can also follow Lake County Right to Life on Facebook.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and AB, problem using tear gas at the border if border agents feel their physical security is threatened. Here was Lee Gallant, Deputy Director of the ACLU Immigrant Rights Project, on CNN yesterday, taking the Trump administration and Border Patrol to task.
He said if they really were asylum seekers, they would have walked up with their hands up instead of, he says, throwing rocks.
Yeah, well, look, no one wants any border officer to be in danger. But from what we know, this was an overuse of force. I mean, there are women and children out there. Using tear gas in this situation does not seem justified. We are investigating the facts on the ground. But the Border Patrol has a history of using unnecessary force.
And it's not an unnecessary force, but I want to point everybody out to something. According to Homeland Security, when President Obama was in charge, they deployed tear gas 26 times at the border in 2012, 27 times in 2013, and 3 times in 2016, his final year in office. Okay, so the people need to understand that that is a tactic they have been using along the border for decades.
Right, to use non-lethal force to disperse crowds that are otherwise threatening to overwhelm Border Patrol at the border. That's what the actual reality is. Of course,
it's pepper spray, really, not tear gas. I mean, there is a difference, but still, it's just an agent to let them know they don't have enough agent or troops there to stop the people trying to invade them. So that's what tactic they use.
Well, and actually, Rodney Scott, who's the agent in charge of the San Diego sector, made the point that agents from other sectors were called in to provide backup to those that are otherwise stationed at that San Ysidro port of entry because of the nature of the size of the population on the other side of the border threatening to try to, bust their way in.
Right. So Mexico deported 98 migrants yesterday. We arrested 27.
Actually, the Rodney Scott suggests there were more than that in terms of the number of arrests. But so some people actually got through to the other side, but then they were arrested. By our Border Patrol. Here's Rodney Scott responding to the specious claims of CNN, and while keeping his calm, and I respect him for doing so, given what he was facing in terms of the interrogation.
So one of our primary missions is to make sure that we keep the border safe and secure. I kind of challenged that this was a peaceful protest or that the majority of these people were claiming asylum. We ended up making about 42 arrests. Only 8 of those were females, and there were only a few children involved. The vast majority of the people we're dealing with are adult males. Similar to what we saw the first wave of the caravan that came up about a week or so ago, the group immediately started throwing rocks and debris at our agents, taunting the agents. And once our agents were assaulted and the numbers started growing, we had 2 or 3 agents at a time initially facing hundreds of people at a time. They deployed tear gas to protect themselves and to protect the border.
There you go. And in response to that, what did Rodney Scott get? A reassertion of the same argument from one of these fungible CNN anchors. I don't know, Don Lemon or Chris Cuomo or Vanderbilt's kid or Allison Camerata, or I don't know who it is.
So at the outset of this interview, you took issue with the idea that these were people seeking asylum. The caravan, though, the 5,000 to 9,000, depending on which count you believe, that is in Tijuana right now, those are people coming to the border, as far as you know, for asylum, isn't it?
No, I just said so.
I do not believe that is true. I believe there are definitely people in that group that are going to try to claim asylum. The vast majority of those from the what we call the Northern Triangle are economic migrants, though. They do not meet the qualifications to get asylum here. They can still apply. That's a different issue. However, what I saw on the border yesterday was not people walking up to Border Patrol agents and asking to claim asylum. Matter of fact, one of the groups that I watched, one of the groups that actually several of them were arrested, they passed 10 or 15 marked Border Patrol units walking east to west, or west to east, I'm sorry. Numerous uniformed personnel as they were chanting, waving the Honduran flag, and throwing rocks at the agents. If they were truly asylum seekers, they would have just walked up with their hands up and surrendered, and that did not take place.
Yeah, end of story. Well, I mean, there's a lot more to get to, but that's what you do. You don't go up being violent. You walk up with your hands up and you say, I'm seeking asylum.
The other important point to stress here, there's nothing wrong with economic migrants trying to make their way to this country legally. I understand people who want to come to this country for a better life. So nobody is saying that that's a problem in principle. The problem is when you have the media redefining that as asylum seekers. They are not asylum seekers. They're seeking a better life. They're economic migrants, as that agent said. And so the laws treat them differently than political or religious asylum seekers. And it'd be nice if the press was interested in telling the truth and making distinctions that actually exist in U.S. law.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, it's Giving Tuesday, and we'll tell you how you can help a charity that is near and dear to our hearts. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Light snow and clouds, 22 degrees. Tens of thousands of ComEd customers here in the Chicago area still without power after a winter storm pummeled the area Sunday into Monday. Utility has brought in 250 employees from the East Coast to try and restore service quicker. 70,000 customers still without power. Service may be restored in the next 24 hours. General Motors will be closing 5 assembly plants, the Hamtramck plant in Detroit, the historic plant there, Warren Transmission Plant, factories in Metro Detroit that will close. David Green is president of the UAW union in Lordstown, Ohio, where a plant is closing.
I felt like somebody kicked me in the stomach. I've been, working here for a long time.
President Trump says he spoke with GM CEO Mary Barra regarding the job cuts.
I believe they'll be opening up something else, and I was very tough. I spoke with her when I heard they were closing, And I said, you know, this country's done a lot for General Motors. You better get back in there soon. That's Ohio. And you better get back in there soon. So
Baltimore operations in Maryland and the Oshawa assembly plant in Ontario, Canada, are also proposed to be shuttered. President Trump made a final pitch for Republican Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, the favorite by a slight margin in today's Mississippi runoff election against former Democrat Congressman Mike Espy. Hyde-Smith has faced some criticism recently, and Espy says that's benefited his campaign.
It has certainly caused more interest in the campaign. Someone told me that was a gift that keeps on giving to our campaign because it went viral within 3 minutes. And we've gotten more donations. We've gotten more interest.
Trump campaigned for Hyde-Smith in Tupelo and Biloxi yesterday. Romaine lettuce heading back to store shelves. Recall just before Thanksgiving, the FDA urged restaurants, grocers, and consumers to toss it, throw it out, the romaine lettuce, due to an E. coli outbreak. The outbreak sickened more than 40 in 12 states. Today, the FDA will release a statement saying the most likely source of that contamination is lettuce grown on California's Central Coast between L.A. and San Francisco. Here in Chicago, police continue investigating after a woman was beaten to death on the far south side. Search is underway for the driver of a truck that was left hanging over the Chicago River on the southwest side near Archer and Ashland Avenues. An investigation continues following a deadly house fire in DuPage County in unincorporated Carroll Stream. Coach Mike Ditka recovering after suffering a mild heart attack last week. Multiple reports say Iron Mike has been released from a Florida hospital, is doing well at home. Ditka previously suffered a heart attack November of 1988, famously returning to the Bears sideline 11 days later. He turned 79 last month. A federal judge has tossed a lawsuit against President Trump's hotel near the White House. The judge yesterday dismissed that suit filed last year by owners of the Cork Wine Bar, who claimed the Trump Hotel International had some kind of an unfair business advantage because of its affiliation with the president. DeMar DeRozan, 21, Spurs over the Bulls, 108-107 at the UC. Blackhawks welcome the Golden Knights to the UC tonight. ACC Big Ten Basketball Challenge, Fighting Illini men set to take on Notre Dame. And it's a rematch, Loyola and number 6, Nevada. The news service of 23 and Me. And at 5:33, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher explains how dangerous fake news is to our country.
Now even residents of Mexico are calling it an invasion. The president is right to talk about fake news. And nobody is better at it than him. Nobody's more effective at it than him. And he is 100% correct that fake news is the enemy of the people.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
Get ready to make Range Day more awesome. Here's the perfect gift for the gun owner on your list, or for yourself, a Hackett Equipment Range backpack. The Hackett Equipment Range backpack comes in 3 styles of covert quality range backpacks that hold 2 to 4 pistols and carry a lifetime warranty. There's also an attachable rifle bag, tactical shooting glasses, all at affordable prices. You can even join the Hackett Equipment Army with a Hackett Equipment Pocket Pistol t-shirt. Hackett Equipment is a Chicago-based company that shares your values, and they'd like to share a smoking hot discount just for AM 560 listeners. Get 20% off all Hackett Equipment online products for a limited time with promo code AM 560. Plus, all orders over $100 receive free shipping on top of your 20% discount. Make trips to the shooting range easier and more fun by taking everything you need for a day at the range hands-free. Visit gunrangebags.com and see for yourself why Hackett Equipment bags have endless 5-star reviews. Have a blast at the shooting range and save 20% plus free shipping on orders over $100 with promo code AM560. Gunrangebags.com, promo code AM560.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 35-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. Without further ado.
Hi, I'm Patty Fritz, Precision Payroll's first employee. Yes, I'm real. I love working with my team and our clients and providing the best service and support. Hard to believe it's been that long. But when you love what you do, it's great. And I do love what we do at Precision Payroll. I didn't starve myself either.
That's right, Patty. I was there day one, and I'm still working with you today. Hi, I'm Jack Bishop, owner of Priority Logistics in Elk Grove and Precision Payroll's first client. Yes, I'm real too. Precision Payroll has served us exceptionally for 35 years. We've grown together over the years, and I look forward to many more to come.
Jack and Patty, thank you both for making Precision Payroll of America a great company to do business with. To join our growing ranks of clients, visit us at precisionpayroll.com.
5:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
In Skokie, there's a crash on Oakton at Grosse Pointe. Bloomingdale, lights are out along Lake Street at Medina Road. There's a power outage in that area. In Bartlett, closures continue. Army Trail, 59 at Petersdorf, down Cables. At Munger, Stearns and Forest Preserve Drive, fallen tree. Eden Spur eastbound traffic's a bit tight, Kingston to the Edens. Edens itself is fine, so is the Kennedy. Eisenhower okay for now. On Stevenson, delays are central to Pulaski and Ashland to the Ryan. It's 40 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 17 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 27 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop Ford, 29. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Very cold today, especially this morning. Clouds through the midday, a little bit of sun this afternoon. High 25, clear to partly cloudy, bitterly cold overnight, low 12. 22 at O'Hare, 24 along the lakefront. And your next news update is at 6. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So Geraldo Rivera, Jerry Rivers, wants you to know that he's still alive. So he threw a bit of a conniption fit on Fox over the matter of what's happening at the border.
Well, he said, this isn't a media issue because it's far too important. He lost it. But, he does have a point. Just listen, and I'd love to know what you think.
I refuse to deal with this as a media issue because it's far too important. With all due respect, Jesse, this is something that goes to the very quick. This goes to my soul.
Right. But that's how the audience is
fulfilling my role as the designated piñata on Fox News. I want to say
that's racist.
I am ashamed. This tear gas choked me. We treat these people, these economic refugees, as if they're zombies from The Walking Dead. I think we arrested 42 people. 8 of them were women with children. We have to deal with this problem humanely and with compassion. These are not invaders. Stop using these military analogies. This is absolutely painful to watch. We are a nation of immigrants. These are desperate people. They walk 2,000 miles. Why? Because they want to rape your daughter or steal your lunch? No, because they want a job. They want to fill the millions of unfilled jobs we have in the agricultural sector. They want to wash dishes in the restaurants. They want to deliver the pizzas. For goodness sake, I can't. We suspend our humanity when it comes to this issue, and I fear that it is because they look different.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. That's the sort of sentimental argument on the topic that you get from the left that keeps us in this stasis when it comes to border security and legal immigration.
Well, he's a Republican working on Fox, but he's Hispanic, so this obviously struck a chord with him, and there's a lot to unpack in what he said. But
there's not much to unpack at all.
But he should know that there's 500 people who, there's gang members as a part of this caravan. There's, we know that there's some seeking asylum, but they're not doing it the right way. And point in case is the woman who was seen around the world, a picture of her and her 2 kids fleeing, and they are wearing diapers, and there's a tear gas canister behind them. Her name is Maria Mesa. Gabe Gutierrez from NBC News caught up with her, and she said, listen to this. She claims that she was not crossing the border illegally, but trying to seek asylum.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, well, because people think that was a staged photo. Ben Shapiro wrote an article that this was staged. It was not staged. That was one of the women who was trying to get to this country legally, but yet doing it the wrong way, too, by following a group of people who are throwing rocks and Molotov cocktails at U.S. Border Patrol agents.
And by the way, the need for barriers at the border. Here's law enforcement on the ground. Rodney Scott, again, the agent in charge of the San Diego district, giving you a little bit of perspective on what they were facing, in addition to, and not even the violence piece of it, not even the rock throwing or the bum rushing, just in terms of what they have to deal with to try to keep the border secure, their job and the law of the land.
That is correct. 42 crossed the border and were arrested. To be completely frank, there were numerous people that actually made it across the border. We're in the process of building the new border wall here, but we don't have it completed. There were some sections that had the dilapidated border wall that was made out of scrap metal the military gave us. The group breached a couple sections of that, actually tore down one small section, started to rush across, and that's another time that they started assaulting our agents. We were able to hold them back using riot techniques. But there were ultimately 42 arrests of individuals.
Okay, so to Geraldo and the ACLU and everybody else, what would you suggest Border Patrol do?
Yeah, just let them in. That's what I was yelling at the TV. Do you want them to just let them in?
So if you bring enough people and you can overwhelm Border Patrol or otherwise break through whatever makeshift barrier exists at parts of the border, then you should just be an American citizen, or you should just be a permanent resident, or you should be a resident as long as you feel like it. Is that it? I mean, what's the policy? I understand the emotion because emotion is easy and it's cheap. What's the policy, Jerry? What's the policy, ACLU? Tear gas is excessive force. Okay. What's the policy for dealing with thousands of people who've assembled at the border and are taking turns trying to bum rush their way into the country?
They were even throwing rocks at helicopters.
Okay,
I know, but what did you take them to your house, Jerry? I don't know.
And I'll stipulate to all of the specious, misdirected arguments. There are some people there that are truly seeking asylum for religious or political persecution. Okay, happy to hear those cases. We have a process for that. There are people that are economic migrants and want a better life for themselves. Yeah, no, I can see the point. This is why we have legal immigration. There are people that are awaiting to immigrate to this country legally who are in the very same position economically. So they and their friends bum rushing the border should get preferential treatment. I just want to understand what the policy is. The Homeland Security has identified 500 people, at least in the caravan, as you said, who have criminal records or bad intentions. What to do about them? Nothing? I want to understand what we should do. Because the sentimentalism about, with references to women and children, gets us nowhere. Chris in Kansasville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, why do they even call her a woman? Maybe she identified as a man that day, in which case that's kind of tear gasser, I guess. I mean, they want it both ways. Oh, my God, it's a woman that with kids that got tear gas. Why was she there? Why would you put your children in harm's way?
All right, thanks for the call, Chris. By the way, women and children, I don't know. I'm a guy seeking asylum, and it's okay to tear gas me. I mean, I love this women and children. I mean, it shows you how disingenuous their contentions are. They have to fall back on the sophistry of women and children. And that's what it is. Again, Ami Horowitz at the border. We played the video last week. 90 to 95% of the caravan, single adult males.
Well, yeah. And President Trump yesterday, when he was in Mississippi, he suggested that adult migrants are grabbing children in order to gain quicker access into the U.S.
They feel they have an advantage when they're with a young child. And they're called grabbers. Well, that's a term I've heard, but that's what they're called, grabbers. They grab a child because when they have a child, they feel a lot safer. All over the border, you have a lot of grabbers. You have a lot of people that grab children, and they have no idea who these children are. They're not parents.
Yeah, so it's possible. So what? I don't, the president shouldn't even go down those rabbit holes. Just stick to the top lines. This is a straightforward case. Just stick to the top lines.
And remind people that President Obama did this more than 52 times when he was in office. The same tactic, the same tear gas canisters.
Ed in Oak Brook.
You know, my heart actually does go out for the children because I think of my own grandchildren. But like you said, Dan, that's not the point. The point is this is going to continue until they find the organizers. Someone has to be assembling these people. Someone has to be selling them the dream to come here and you don't have to do anything but collect benefits. Go after those people and lock them up because they're the ones that are causing all of this. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Ed. Well, I mean, again, Ami Horowitz's video, you see the Pueblo Sin Fronteras staffers, if you will, with the black shirts on, with the name of the organization, People Without Borders, on it. And they're sort of, at least with the video that Horowitz shot, organizing the caravan up through the border with buses, and they've got...
And then they're setting up tents in the next town and telling them where to walk and where to go.
And again, to repeat, because needs repeating, Tijuana, Mexicans in Tijuana, not exactly ecstatic about the 6,000 people that have overrun their town. And there's been plenty of interviews of Tijuana residents to that effect.
They're out of their minds.
Dan in Libertyville.
It really comes down to a simple matter of mathematics. If you want to start this refugee program of anybody who can look sad and carrying a kid, let's bring in hundreds of millions of Chinese and people from Haiti and people from all over the world. And we will end up living like refugees because they'll overwhelm our healthcare system, our system of welfare, and we'll all be living in tents.
All right, thanks for the call, Dan. I mean, this is the open borders crowd, right? You have to understand, you're talking about, as Dan rightly said, I mean, it would be people living below poverty, the international poverty level, billion people. Let them all in because they have a sad story. I'm not trying to be heartless about it, but what is the policy? What do you want to do exactly? And do you understand the implications of what you're proposing? And I don't get any policy proposals from the left or Geraldo, and I don't get any assessment or discussion of the implications of whatever it is they haven't proposed. Until you can offer both of those things, you're not really a constructive part of any argument as far as I'm concerned. Peggy in Chicago.
Wow, I am really amazed. I mean, your comment and the guy before you, talking about overwhelmed, I know that the Public Health Department, U.S. Public Health, is very concerned about this. These people are coming in, not being checked medically. They go into the public, if they go into the regular population, God knows what they're carrying. And they are very concerned. And public health is not normally a political group, okay? They're charged with keeping our population safe, healthy, so we don't get sick. We don't come down with some disease for which there is no cure. Or they bring in parasites that are not indigenous to our country. What happens then? You know, public health is charged with dealing with those kinds of problems, and they are very, very concerned.
Thanks for the call, Peggy. Mike in Plano.
Hey, you know, I'm getting sick and tired of seeing these establishment Republicans, these Karl Rove types on TV, talking about how the GOP needs to keep reaching out to suburban women. Suburban women just voted to keep National Socialist health care. Let them go. What they need to do, especially in this state, is reach out to people that are sick and tired of seeing this stuff on the border, and there's a lot of them out there, and articulate it in a way that they understand it. You don't even have to be a pro-Trump candidate. Just, you know, explain why it's necessary to protect our borders and why we need to embrace conservative immigration policies to stop this stuff.
Thanks, Mike. I mean, there's a reason that Nancy Pelosi isn't adopting the Ocasio-Cortez, abolish ICE, open borders philosophy, right? She recognizes that that is a pathway back to the minority, super minority. There are a lot of people who didn't vote for Trump who think the arguments of the Ocasio-Cortez Democrat socialists, the abolish ICE and open borders argument, is insanity, because it is. Art in Huntley.
Hey, how are you this morning?
Morning.
My comment is every politician that says open the border, how about 5 or 6 immigrants live at every one of their houses. When they have them in their house for 6 months, everything's stolen, gone, no health care, no food. See what they like and see how they feel about it. I'm really upset with this. I went with my granddaughter to Northwest Community Hospital, waited in line for 20 minutes because she had a broken leg, broken ankle. And when I was next, the Spanish woman pushed me aside. She said, "I'm next." I said, "No, you're not next. You're in America. Get back." The woman at the counter said to me, "Boy, you're rude." I said, "How often is she in here?" She said, "Every other day." She has 10 kids. So there goes our health care.
Okay, thanks for the call, Art.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Born and raised in Chicagoland, my partners and I knew this city needed a locally owned business bank. As fellow entrepreneurs, we know the challenges facing businesses, and we are invested in our customer success. We are here to build mutually beneficial, long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We look forward to helping our customers reach their goals every day, and we are here to see them succeed. At Signature Bank, you work directly with decision makers who understand your business and can deliver on their promises.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs, get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat, you do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido, Chicago anesthesia and pain specialist, will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain, find the source, and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
You know I love MyPillow and how it's changed how I sleep. Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and when I heard about the new MyPillow mattress topper, I couldn't wait to try it. Now I don't know if I love MyPillow or the MyPillow mattress topper more. It's that good. And now you can get a great deal on a MyPillow mattress topper and start getting the best sleep of your life. The exclusive 3-layer design includes MyPillow foam for support, traditional foam to help relieve pressure points, and an ultra-soft patent temperature-regulating cover. It has a 10-year warranty and a cover that's washable and dryable. It's made in the USA, and it's backed by Mike Lindell's 60-day money-back guarantee. You'll get the total body support you need to sleep better. So here's the deal. Right now, you'll save 30% when you use promo code Amy, plus you'll receive 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. So visit mypillow.com or call 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Famous Winston Churchill quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
The late, great Winston Churchill said, referring to taxation, "There is nothing government has given you that it hasn't taken from you in the first place."
I know you support companies that share your conservative values. For FDA-regulated staffing needs, Automated Systems provides top talent, from experienced quality control and quality assurance engineers to top validation and compliance experts. Depend on Automated Systems. Hiring the best is critical to success. ASI Resources are all degreed professionals with decades of experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. That's why ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For a staffing evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems, toll-free 844-HIRE-ASI, or visit automatedsys.com.
When you're looking for a special and creative way to thank your customers for their business or to follow up with your clients, gift it forward with KP Toffee. Your business associates deserve something different and exceptional that will be remembered. Or maybe you'd like to show your employees some appreciation for a project or job well done, and gift it forward with KP Toffee. Or just the right gourmet gift that stands out, makes an impression, and shows that you went above and beyond. Give scrumptious KP Toffee. KP Toffee is a Wisconsin-made gourmet English toffee, topped with rich premium chocolate and pecans. The award-winning toffee is completely handmade with their secret recipe. The premium ingredients and carefully controlled process give it a perfectly unique crunch. KP Toffee is available in milk, dark, and white chocolate flavors, plus some amazing specialty flavors and KP Toffee Popcorn Crunch and the KP Toffee Pretzel Twist. See all the goodies KP Toffee has to offer and shop online today to make gift giving special. kptoffee.com. That's kptoffee.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and yesterday we launched our holiday 2018 campaign in conjunction with Food for the Poor. Our goal, provide food for a year, water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti. And this is something that we've done in past years and done successfully thanks to the generosity of you, our listener.
Yes.
And we're asking for that generosity one more time.
Yeah, asking a one-time gift of just $80. You can make a donation on behalf of a loved one in your family. On behalf of this radio station, $80 will provide food for a year and water for life. And I could tell you, I was in Haiti, 2 years ago, and we went to this tiny village, Savan-Cabritz, and it's a place where people live in small shacks made of mud and sticks with dirt floors, and they did not have clean water. And cholera was running rampant there. And we had our Christmas, our annual campaign. Within a month of that, they rebuilt homes for all the families there. And more importantly, they have a clean water filtration system there. So I can't thank you enough, but the need is still here, and we really, really need your help. $80, again, will provide food for a year and clean water for life. Call 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673. Because unlike here in the U.S., they don't have a government to help them if they're in need. They have Food for the Poor, and Food for the Poor needs your donations to sustain themselves and to survive and to stay in Haiti.
Well, and something important you made reference to there is they build infrastructure. Mm-hmm. So it's sustainable solutions to continue to provide that clean water for life. That's how $80 can provide an individual with clean water for life, because they're building infrastructure that's sustainable. The other way to participate, in addition to the individual level, is through our Business Benefactor Program. We're doing that again this year. $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. And as a thank you from us here at AM 560, you get 40 60-second commercials that run primetime hours, Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on these airwaves. And to participate in that program, as so many have in previous years, call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette, at 847-472-8951. Again, that's Ann Jeanette, and her number, 847-472-8951.
And it really is the best advertising deal in all of Chicagoland radio. $2,500. The money goes to Food for the Poor, and we give you 40 60-second commercials. So please call Ann Jeanette if you can. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Are Trump's tariffs the proximate cause of GM's layoffs at 6:06?
And later, don't cut out Beto. We'll explain. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
ComEd is still restoring service for thousands of Chicago area customers in the dark. Funeral held for a slain Chicago police officer. Trial in the Laquan McDonald cover-up case begins today. Mike Ditka released from a Florida hospital. Spurs topped the Bulls last night. Blackhawks getting set to host the Golden Knights tonight. Fighting Illini tackle Notre Dame in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Cold start to the day. WIND's Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
He agreed to cooperate, then lied. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's the newest development
in the allegations in the case against Paul Manafort, the former Trump campaign chairman, already convicted in the special counsel's investigation. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, special counsel Robert Mueller has tossed out Manafort's plea deal, exposing him to more prison time and the possibility of additional criminal charges. Prosecutors say the 69-year-old violated the deal by repeatedly lying to investigators in the Russia probe. Manafort, who cannot withdraw his guilty plea, denies that he lied, and his attorneys say he believes he provided truthful information. The former Trump campaign chairman remains in solitary confinement while awaiting sentencing. He could spend the rest of his life in prison. Dave.
Rachel, they'll go to the polls starting next hour in Mississippi to vote in a Senate runoff. President Trump was there last night urging people to vote for Republican Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith.
So that we can continue doing what we're doing, which is frankly unprecedented.
It is a state the president easily won in 2016.
But she made several gaffes during the campaign, including a joke about attending a public hanging. Last night, Hyde-Smith's opponent, Democrat Mike Espy, attended a gospel event at a church in Jackson. Although he's expected to do well among African-American voters in a state that has the highest percentage of black residents in the country, one Democratic strategist tells Fox News Espy must get more than 20% of the white vote in today's runoff in order to win.
Fox's Jonathan Seri in Ridgeland, Mississippi. The president also again told the migrants in the caravan camped out in Mexico to go home.
We will not tolerate any form of assault or attack upon our border agents.
Referencing the hundreds of migrants who made a rush for the border near San Diego on Sunday, temporarily closing the port of entry there. The head of Homeland Security says there are 600 criminals within the migrant camps out. This is Fox News.
Clouds this morning, just a little bit of light snow in the area. 22 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A freight train derailment in the western suburbs at this hour, causing major problems for Metro riders. Inbound trains on the BNSF will not be stopping at the Cicero station during the morning rush after a derailed train damaged the platform canopy. Passengers who normally board inbound trains at Cicero are advised to use either the Laverne or Halsted Street station or the CTA's Pink Line. Tens of thousands of ComEd customers in the Chicago area still without power after a winter storm pummeled the area Sunday night into Monday morning. As of last night, 70,000 customers still do not have power. Search is underway for the driver of a truck left hanging over the Chicago River on the southwest side. Authorities say video showed the driver running off after a Ryder truck smashed through a railing on a bridge near Archer and Ashland Avenues. Chicago courtroom is set today for the trial of 3 Chicago police officers accused of covering up another officer's involvement in the shooting death of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald. David March, Joseph Walsh, Thomas Gaffney face charges in a bench trial 2 months after Jason Van Dyke was found guilty of second-degree murder and aggravated battery in the boy's death. Chicago police officer killed in the Mercy Hospital shooting last week is being remembered as a hero. Fellow officer Rafael Villegas paid tribute to Officer Sam Jimenez during his funeral yesterday in Des Plaines.
He was a one-of-a-kind hero. He would give you a hand even if you never asked for it. He was simply just there.
Mayor Emanuel, Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson, Governor Honor also spoke during the 2-hour ceremony. One of the candidates for Chicago mayor this morning is asking for changes to the process for filing nominating petitions. Bill Daley wants the legislature to look at the requirement for the number of signatures required to get on the ballot. Now, mayoral hopefuls in Chicago must generate 12,500 names. Due to challenges, candidates usually get 2 to 3 times more than that to make sure they get on the ballot. Daley's proposal would also call for allowing people to sign more than one petition. Spurs over the Bulls 108-107 last night. Blackhawks welcomed the Golden Knights to the UC. College hoops fighting Illini and Notre Dame. SIU and Colorado State and Loyola in the rematch against Nevada. The news service of 23andMe give the gift for everyone you love with a DNA kit from 23andMe this holiday season. Go to 23andme.com/gift and get the 30% off each kit. Offer ends December 25th. 6:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity just doesn't understand why Florida can't get it right.
It matters to every American here. We've got to get these elections right. And if one more election season is ever allowed to go by in Florida and allow Broward and Palm Beach to do what they're doing, we're never, ever going to get an accurate number already as it is. It is mind-numbing.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joel Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's the holiday sales event at Ford. It's a big deal, and we're busy making preparations to get you the best deals of the year. Because unlike Santa's presents, ours don't just magically appear. At Ford, ours are built in real factories, where pickup trucks come with best-in-class towing and payload, where SUVs are built with available features like terrain management and driver assist technologies, and where every bolt, stitch, and line of code is tested and tested again. But you don't have to write Santa a letter to get these presents. Naughty or nice, just come see your Ford dealer during our holiday sales event for our best offers of the year. Ford, built for the holidays, built Ford proud.
Best-in-class towing and payload when properly configured. Class is light-duty pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Hi, this is Alexander Green, Chief Investment Strategist for the Oxford Club. Just for a moment, I'd like you to picture the perfect stock. No doubt it would have hundreds of billions in revenue, more than IBM, Facebook, and Google. It would probably be a leader in cutting-edge technology like smartphones and robotics. It would be on the verge of dozens of blockbuster announcements. But most of all, it would be ultra cheap, trading at less than $3 a share. Now, it may seem crazy that such a stock exists, but it does. It's a cutting-edge tech company that has made deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars with Nokia, Microsoft, and Cisco, and a $29.2 billion deal with Apple. It's set to create 50,000 new jobs right here in America, and Donald Trump even calls it the eighth wonder of the world. Yet you've likely never even heard of the stock. Why? Because it trades under a secret name. To find out why the secret $3 stock can help you retire, simply go to onestockretirement.com. That's onestockretirement.com.
From now through December, Napa is having its biggest holiday sale ever with hundreds of items at their best prices of the year. Items like a 26-piece screwdriver set for only $17.99. Quality parts, helpful people, that's Napa know-how. While supplies last.
6:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Kennedy Expressway traffic's heavy from 190 to Canfield and Eagle to Lawrence. It's 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 23. Heavy from the Circle to Madison and Foster to Harlem. The Edens is okay. The eastbound Spurs a little tight. Fingston to the Edens. Got Eisenhower. Manheim to First Avenue and Ashland to Burns Circle. 35 minutes. 390 to downtown. Outbound 30. Mount Stevenson already 50 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 34. Ryan, 19 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 30 minutes, I-80 converge. A crash reported on eastbound 390 and 290. Traffic's heavy on the northbound Tri-State, Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Jillian Ford.
Today, very cold and cloudy this morning with a high of 25. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy and bitterly cold with a low of 12. Tomorrow, very cold with sun followed by increasing clouds and a high of 27. I'm Jillian Ford on AM 560, The Answer.
22 at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Trump's tariffs, proximate cause of GM's layoffs. Certainly a contributing factor. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. GM announcing yesterday 14,000 jobs and 5 plants are going away.
It's so sad. It's actually, and 8,000. I heard it's 15,000, but 8,000 salaried employees, 6,000 hourly employees, and they're just devastated. I mean, if you've lived in Detroit, there's a plant in Warren that's going to be shutting down, and there's a plant in Hamtramck that's going to be shut down as well.
2 in Michigan, 1 in Maryland, 1 in Ontario, Canada. And also one of the plants targeted to be closed or unallocated, is the PR jargon, just outside Youngstown, Ohio. And here's what Trump had to say when asked about it by the press corps.
I spoke with her when I heard they were closing, and I said, this country's done a lot for General Motors. You better get back in there soon. That's Ohio, and you better get back in there soon. So we have a lot of pressure on them. You have senators, you have a lot of other people, a lot of pressure. They say the Chevy Cruze is not selling well. I say, well, then get a car that is selling well and put it back in. So I think you're going to see something else happen there, but I'm not happy about it. Their car is not selling well, so they'll put something else. I have no doubt that in a not too distant future, they'll put something else. They better put something else in.
They better put something, her, by the way, is GM CEO. They better put something in. They better. Do you like a president threatening an American company in terms of the decision-making they should pursue with respect to facilities or employment or product line? Is that an appropriate role for the President of the United States? 312-642-5600.
I don't know if this has to do with tariffs, as it does with people aren't buying sedans, the Impala. People aren't buying the Chevy Volt. People want crossovers. They want trucks. They want SUVs. They want Suburbans. I don't know if it has anything to do with that, but regardless, people are out of a job.
I'm praying for a lot of people. There's a lot of folks out there that need it right now.
There's people in there bawling their eyes out. I've never seen anything like it.
I worry for all the people who have put in so many years of their lives in such hard work, and they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. My husband has been a General Motors employee for over 30 years.
And the United Auto Workers Union, they're trying to find a way to have them keep their jobs somehow, somewhere, or be transferred to other plants.
Yeah, so it's too bad because President Obama, I know, said half a dozen years ago he would buy a Chevy Volt. Looks like he's not going to be able to. That's too bad. About 8% of the global workforce we're talking about for GM. GM announced in July that Trump's tariffs would cost the company about $1 billion over a full year. This from the company's CFO. So $1 billion to your bottom line. I mean, in terms of cost, $1 billion taken away from your bottom line, if you will. That doesn't impact your decision making? Yeah, it does. $1 billion pays a year's salary for 24,000 assembly line workers who make an average salary of about $41,000. So when the government artificially increases the cost of doing business by fiat, creates a lot of friendly fire casualties. And this may have been in the offing at some level because of the changing nature of the auto market. But don't tell me that artificially increasing the costs of a business by $1 billion is not a factor in the cost cutting that they do. In July, GM's CFO told Reuters that the company would deal with the added costs imposed by the tariffs by negotiating price reductions with suppliers, raising prices on more popular models, and cost cutting. So here's your cost cutting. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Again, Trump's tariffs are anti-growth. The longer they persist, the more they jeopardize the manufacturing revival in this country, the more they jeopardize making America great again. Tony in Plainfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for taking my call, Dan and Amy. I totally disagree with Trump's position of wanting to punish or at least threatening private enterprise. how to conduct their own business. But I'd like to mention that, and the listeners might recall, that the very same government propped up some of the automotive manufacturers
That's right.
a few years ago. So
That's right.
you can't have it both ways. And it shouldn't be any way that involves the government to either propping up businesses or punishing them for making decisions that may make sense for them.
Completely agree. Thank you for the call, Tony. Appreciate that.
Last night in Mississippi, President Trump talked about the manufacturing jobs, they'll return.
The previous administration, they said manufacturing's never coming back. It's gone. You need a magic wand. Well, we found the magic wand, and that's actually going to be increasing by a lot in the next short while because we have a lot of companies moving in.
He's right, and it's not tariffs. The magic wand, if you will.
Yes.
Tax reductions, but even more importantly, regulatory relief. It continues to be the underreported story of Trump's first 2 years. Massive deregulation. The regulatory relief is what has spurred, in terms of government policy, what has spurred investment, expansion, job creation. That's reducing the cost of doing business. So reduce the cost of doing business. Here's a little Econ 101. Reduce the cost of doing business, you get growth. Increase the cost of doing business, you get stagnation. You get layoffs. You get shrinkage. By the way, Trump still doesn't quite understand this lesson, or at least he's playing a high-stakes game of chicken with the Chinese. If we don't make a deal, talking to the Wall Street Journal, with respect to China, I am going to put another $267 billion on at a rate of either 10 or 25%. In other words, another $267 billion worth of Chinese goods are going to be taxed at an increased rate of 10 to 25%, an additional tariff on those other goods that have not been subjected to the tariffs yet. It's bad policy.
And the GM of GM said that, this restructuring move is going to save them $6 billion by the end of 2020.
Again, this is the taxes are, which is what a tariff is,
right,
just a part of it. And then there's market forces as well. But the taxes don't help.
No, they don't. You're right.
Tony in Downers Grove.
All right, Dan. So they're going to save $6 billion and they're going to lose $1 billion, right? Now, first of all, I'd like to see the books at the end of the year, and I'd like to see that $1 billion that they're losing on paper or on the books. But maybe the tariffs had a little bit to do with it. But this was going to come anyway. You already have car companies, Ford. They've discontinued making a lot of their cars, and GM's going to do the same thing. So I think it's a nice, convenient excuse to lay it on just the tariffs.
Do you think
or
a
big portion of it on the tariffs?
I'm not laying it just on the tariffs, but do you think do tariffs, do taxes, are they a business positive? Do they enhance capital formation, growth, job creation?
No, they don't, and that's
right.
obvious. But
right.
Again, we have to see how this plays out in the short term because we still don't know yet.
Well,
we still don't know yet.
I appreciate. Okay, go ahead, Tony.
Well, no, Dan, but it's also okay when GM got bailed out.
Well, it wasn't okay. It wasn't okay with me. It wasn't okay with
right.
me.
So now here they're going. So anyway, let's see what happens.
Thanks for the call, Tony. I hear what you're saying, and I know there's people, and Kudlow is one of them. Is supply side like Kudlow. We're going to get a deal with the Chinese, and that's going to change the landscape, and it's going to result in a lower tariff environment across the board. Fine, okay. I hope that's the outcome. I'm losing my patience, and meanwhile, there are real people that are negatively impacted by this government policy. So, just at least accept that, not completely, but there are friendly fire casualties as a result of artificially increasing the cost of doing business. And a little bit of a history lesson, and this is from great economic thinkers, much greater than me, Thomas Sowell, Milton Friedman. Smoot-Hawley tariff in the 30s did more to cause and deepen the Great Depression than any other single factor. The economic devastation of government policy of this order artificially determining winners and losers at the cost of doing business. Rich on the north side.
Hi, Dan. I agree with you. I don't know if Trump, how Trump misspeaks a lot. I don't know if it was a threat. It better, meaning that, it's going to cause a lot of grief, obviously. I don't think he meant it in a way because he doesn't always spell out what he actually means, which is a bad side of him. But I'm trying to understand. My point is I believe that the cost of GM cars, when you buy a GM car, it's very expensive. I buy a foreign car, a Nissan, because to me it's cheaper and I get the same quality. I'm just, I want to know what your thought is on that. Why can't they lower prices of those vehicles? Thank you.
Thanks for the call,
Because
Rich.
of the tariffs.
Well,
no, we don't.
you'd have to compare sort of apples to apples with respect to different lines of vehicles. But the one thing, just in terms of Trump not threatening GM, he also said she doesn't know who she's messing with.
Yeah, he did say that.
So, no, I think he was sort of threatening GM, and I don't like it. David in Crystal Lake.
Well, Dan, the last caller, hi, Amy, the last caller had said kind of what I was going to. With the inflection in Trump's voice, it sounded to me like he was just saying, in the aggregate for your company, you better get a product in there that will sell. What you had just mentioned about the lady saying about how kind of like a threat, that I didn't pick up on. I missed that. There might be something else to that.
Okay.
On a second point, please, with the tariffs and what's going on with this trade war, quote unquote, yes, we're going to lose 14,000 jobs right here, right now. But how about all the other jobs that have been created throughout the country? With what's going on economically, there's always a winner, always a loser. And as Trump said before, we're already losing this by so many hundreds of billions of dollars a year in other products to this country. This is more of like water settling in a glass to get to an even field. It's been tilted for so long, now things need to adjust.
Thanks for the call, Dave. Sorry to cut you off. Thanks for the call. Look, there are winners and losers. Do you want the government to decide who are the winners and who are the losers? If you don't, then you have to be out of this business of supporting industrial policy like tariffs. Number two, the net on the government picking winners and losers, a lot more losers than winners. That's the lesson from time immemorial. Trade surpluses, which is, I think, what you were getting at, about, Chinese trade surplus. You're forgetting about the goods and services? That's what we get for cash. So we're going to punish American consumers to teach a lesson to the Chinese? Chip in St. Charles.
Dan, I appreciate your point on the tariffs. Something has to be done with China, but I think the big point here is, and I'm glad to see GM making the moves that they're making because I don't want to have to bail them out again. But there's big changes going on in the auto industry right now. Ford is going to quit making cars except for the Mustang. GM is talking about making electric cars. Volvo says that they will not make gasoline cars after 2020. All their cars will be electric.
I understand.
And,
I understand the upheaval and the creative gales, the Schumpeterian gales of creative destruction. I understand. That's the nature of a free market economy, and that's one aspect of the conversation. But this government policy is another aspect that has to be dealt with straight away. And I'm hoping that Trump is chastened by what he's seeing, including the projected slowdown of economic growth, if he doesn't get to that low tariff environment by the first quarter of next year with the Chinese, for example. Thanks for the call, Chip. Just Thomas Sowell. Okay, Thomas Sowell. Anybody who knows Thomas Sowell knows he's one of the most important economists of the last century. When you set off a trade war, like any other war, you have no idea how that's going to end. You're going to be blindsided by all kinds of consequences. You do not make America great again by raising the price to Americans, which is what a tariff does. Jim in Elwood.
Good morning, Dan, Amy. Hey, I used to deliver auto parts to these big threes, and when you got guys that are sitting down the machine and only doing 4 hours worth of work, a buck and 8 hours worth of pay, It's just ridiculous. And then we got people sitting on a dock, because I drive truck, and there's 17 of them plus one machinist, and it takes you over an hour to get one pallet off, and the machinist gets paid because it has some type of metal fabrication to it, and that's just crazy. Now I drive for a company that we call Intermogo, and you would not believe the amount of scrap aluminum, plastic, and everything that goes overseas just at cost, so these companies can keep the market rate high here, which means that we're paying more anyways for aluminum and steel here than it actually would go down if they would sell it overseas. But most of the time, it's just for the cost of shipping.
Thanks for the call, Jim. I mean, look, I'm not arguing that GM is the most efficient car company in the world, and I'm not arguing that GM is or should be insulated from market forces and competition, global competition. I'm just arguing for GM suffering the consequences or deriving the benefits in a competitive marketplace and not at the hands, either through bailouts or tax increases, of government.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had cancer. I have fibromyalgia. I have nerve damage and fatigue. I have thalassemia. I'm hypoglycemic. So my life since cancer, I've had to learn how to live with it. But starting Balance of Nature, I felt it the first month. I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get a $79 furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Seeking a quality improvement specialist in Downers Grove, Illinois for DuPage Medical Group. Clinical quality monitoring for healthcare clients. Medical records review for compliance with QI projects, CMS, and health plans. Quality lead contact for clients and physicians. Requires MA in public health, 2 years experience in quality improvement, and some travel to client sites. Submit resumes to jody.redding@boncura.com. Once again, submit resumes to jody.redding@boncura.com.
We make choices every day. Some are easy, Coke or Pepsi, chicken or fish, paper or plastic. Some choices are hard, like the choice too many Americans face when it comes to life-saving drugs. According to a 2016 survey by the Commonwealth Fund, 14% of insured Americans and 33% of uninsured Americans didn't fill a prescription or skimped on their dosage because of the cost. Kristen Kilmer of South Dakota had just such a choice, a hard choice, a choice between putting her family into deep debt to pay for an expensive cancer drug or not being alive to see her daughter graduate. What good, she wondered, is a life-saving drug if you can't afford it? This has to stop. Drug companies spent more money last year lobbying Congress than any other business in America. While more and more life-saving meds are out of reach for hardworking Americans, this has to stop. Congress needs to make a choice of their own. Work for the drug companies or work for us. It's time for Congress to act and make prescription drugs affordable for everyone now. This ad paid for by Citizens for Truth in drug pricing.
AM 560, The Answer.
Today is Giving Tuesday. And once again, we are asking our listeners of AM 560, The Answer, to help us raise money for those less fortunate this holiday season. Our goal this year is to provide food for a year and water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti. And you know that we know poverty and hunger in the U.S. is a different reality than in other countries, especially in Haiti. There's no government net for them to rely on in Haiti. They have nothing except food for the poor. And food for the poor teaches them, too, how to fish, to grow, to, have
teach a man to fish.
Teach a man to fish. No, they do. They have boats, and they teach a man to fish to feed him for life. And they're not just a government handout, food for the poor. I mean, they're separate from the government, but they're all encompassing. They help if kids need medical attention. They help with vaccinations. They help with food. And we're asking for a one-time donation of $80 that will provide food for a year and water for life. Here's what you do. Call this number, 844-862-HOPE. That's 844-862-4673, or simply just go to 560theanswer.com/food. It'll take just a few minutes to impact the lives of so many.
And they do so efficiently. 5-star rated Charity Navigator. 95 cents of every dollar gets to the intended beneficiary, the recipients, the families, the children in Haiti. In addition to the individual contribution Amy mentioned, we have our business benefactor program for the successful entrepreneur out there who wants to grow your business and do some good in the process. $2,500 tax-deductible donation, and you'll receive from us 40 60-second commercials that run Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on our airwaves. To enroll in the Business Benefactor Program, call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette, 847-472-8951. Again, Ann Jeanette, 847-472-8951, and she'll get you rolled into the Business Benefactor Program straight away.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Another cautionary tale comes to Chicago's south suburbs. Firefighters, listen up at 6:36.
And later, remembering Officer Jimenez. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Gray skies, 21 degrees. At 6:31, 3 U.S. service members are killed in an explosion in Afghanistan this morning. The NATO Resolute support mission issued a statement saying 3 were killed, 3 others severely wounded when an IED detonated near Ghazni, southwest of Kabul. An American contractor was also wounded. Federal prosecutors say former Trump campaign chief Paul Manafort may have broke his plea deal by lying to investigators in the Russia probe. Legal analyst Danny Savalos claims the special counsel always knew Manafort couldn't be trusted, but he must have crossed some threshold of credibility.
Manafort's lies, at least as the government perceived them, must have reached a point where even the government, Mueller's team, decided that, we can't use him anymore.
Special counsel Mueller alleges that after he signed his plea agreement, Manafort lied about a variety of subjects. There's a 80% chance that a weak El Nino could form within 3 months. Expert observations say that natural event causes major changes in the Pacific Ocean's temperature, and that affects major weather patterns around the world. Sea surface temperatures in the tropical Pacific have been weak at weak El Nino levels since October. The NAACP is joining a few other civil rights leaders in calling for a boycott of the San Francisco Giants baseball team. Civil rights attorney John Burris says he will not back the team after principal owner Charles Johnson contributed to the campaign of Mississippi Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith.
I would not buy a ticket. I would not encourage any of my friends to buy tickets.
The Republican senator is accused of making a racially insensitive remark. Freight train derailment in the western suburbs causing problems for some Metro riders this morning. Inbound trains on the BNSF line will not be stopping at the Cicero station. Tens of thousands of ComEd customers around Chicagoland still without power after a winter storm pummeled the area yesterday. As many as 70,000 customers still do not have power. And a Chicago courtroom is set today for the trial of 3 officers accused of covering up another officer's involvement in the shooting death of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald. Spurs over the Bulls at the UC 108-107. Blackhawks welcome the Golden Knights to the UC tonight. College hoops, Fighting Illini and Notre Dame battle in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, while it's an NCAA tournament rematch, Loyola and Nevada. The news service of Napa. From now through December, Napa is having its biggest holiday sale ever with hundreds of items at their best prices of the year, like a 26-piece screwdriver set for only $17.99. Quality parts, helpful people, that's Napa know-how, while supplies last. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
One thing became painfully apparent this past election cycle. There are forces out there trying to destroy the America we know. And guess what? Those forces are still there. The election didn't change that. All this election did was restart the clock. In 2 years, we'll have to stand up and do it all again. Are we going to let the forces of darkness take back this country? Or are we going to stand up and fight for what's right? Stick with this station to get your marching orders. AM 560, The Answer.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts. Every business has two major goals, right? Bigger profits and lower operating costs. Well, while ComEd might not be able to help you directly grow your profits, they can help you lower your operating costs with instant discounts on energy-efficient LEDs. You'll save money right now, and you'll save again later on your energy bills. For instant discounts and other lighting solutions from the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, visit ComEd.com/lighting solutions. ComEd, powering lives.
A new poll says more Americans approve of President Trump than they do the big media. That's why millions are turning them off and turning on Newsmax TV, America's new conservative channel. On Newsmax TV, see Bill O'Reilly, Pat Buchanan, Alan Dershowitz, Mike Reagan, and more. Bill O'Reilly's no-spin news show is only on Newsmax TV. Get it on DirecTV Channel 349, Dish 216, UVerse 1220, and Fios 615. Newsmax TV. Real news for real people.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Arizona's Republican Governor Doug Ducey earned 44% of the Latino vote en route to his easy re-election. No hand recount for Governor-elect Ron DeSantis in Florida, who garnered 44% of the Latino vote and 14% of the black vote. The 400,000 Florida kids and 260,000 Arizona kids who benefit from school choice, the majority from minority families, are reshaping the GOP's electoral coalitions in those states. White Guilt author Shelby Steele argues this occurrence is more than a powerful argument for school choice. It's a messaging imperative for conservatives. As Steele told me, black families have moved beyond the idealism of the civil rights era to search for pragmatic answers to economic concerns the welfare state not only failed to address, but worsened. By contrast, Champaign socialists in the leafy suburbs are in search of a moral calling. The Black Lives Matter yard sign in the lawn of your local Mayflower descendant should have been a tip-off. Bottom line, we've been making the wrong arguments to the wrong constituents. Fiscal conservatism has limited appeal to the vanguard class, as does pantomiming Al Sharpton with minority families. For the latter, it's money they lack. For the former, to borrow from James Earl Jones and Field of Dreams, it's money they have and peace they lack.
It is 6:37. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
We're seeing early delays on the northbound tri-state from the Hinsdale Oasis to Ogden and from North Avenue to the Grand Avenue curve. Northbound Veterans Memorial at Stop and Go from Lake Street to 290. Down Eden's 25 minutes, Lake Cook Junction outbound 20. Kennedy, 29 minutes, O'Hare to downtown outbound 28. On Eisenhower, 36 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 40 with delays from Lake Street up 53 to 390. There's a crash on the ramp there. Stevenson, 53 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95 to downtown, outbound 17. I-57, 30 minutes, 90 to the Murray, Fishing 430 as well. New delays to report in northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, very cold, clouds this morning. Peak at the sun this afternoon, a high of 25. Currently 22. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Saturdays at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Remembering Officer Jimenez, the officer murdered in that Mercy Hospital shooting.
Yeah, he was laid to rest a week ago after he was killed on the job protecting others. They said, he didn't live for himself. He lived for the people of the city. It was, it's always emotional when you watch these funerals, but I just feel because of the snowstorm, it didn't get as much attention. It wasn't streamed live as in the past when police officers have lost their lives in the line of duty. But Jimenez, 28 years old, Married father of 3 young children, 2 daughters, Ebony and Angelina, and son, Julian. He joined the police department less than 2 years ago and lived in Chicago's Edison Park neighborhood, but the service yesterday was in Des Plaines at the Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe.
It's a day that I will never forget. He was a great man.
It was one of his partners.
He, for the amount of stress we endure on this job, he found light in a million ways. I can't speak enough of the type of character and the type of perspective he opened up my eyes to.
And they say that he was the kind of cop who did his job. He didn't get it to get recognition. He did his job with sincerity, professionalism, and he was proud and courageous and selfless. So he was laid to rest, and the 2 other, the doctor and the pharmaceutical student, they'll be laid to rest today.
It's a terrible story, tragic story, and Jimenez heroically dying in the line of duty. But there's a reality coming, an economic reality coming to local units of government, as well as obviously the state government in Illinois, and it shouldn't go unnoticed. It's not going to go unnoticed by us because we've continued reporting on it. North Chicago, Harvey, Evanston, Cal Park, Lyons, laying off police officers and firefighters because you can't make the numbers work. So listen up, because the math is inexorable. I know there's a lot of people who think math is just an opinion, and that's fine if you want to believe that. But the truth, the bitter truth, is going to visit the sweet lies you've been told by the public sector unions and the Democrat socialists in this state. Cal Park, I mentioned. Calumet Park, south suburbs. In a historic move, Cal Park has outsourced its entire fire department to a private contractor in an effort to cut costs. The board voted unanimously earlier this month to approve a separation agreement with its firefighters union and enter into a 5-year contract with Kurt's Ambulance Service to provide fire suppression and ambulance services to the village.
Wow.
Bert Odelson, the village attorney, who's a Democrat, this will be a wave of the future, said Odelson, who previously spearheaded a push to privatize fire services in North Riverside. That was overturned by the Labor Relations Board. Labor Relations Board ain't going to be able to overturn math forever. He wasn't aware of any other municipality in Cook County that has contracted with a private company to provide fire suppression services yet. But he said, Odelson, it's going to cause a chain reaction in the south suburbs with the communities that just can't afford to pay the high salaries, the overtime, and the equipment. New reality. It's coming. When is it going to happen? It's happening. Borrowing from The Big Short, it's happening. It's been happening. I don't say it with glee. I say it to try to penetrate people's consciousness about this. And it's not going to be just lower to middle income suburbs. I mentioned Evanston dealing with the same wealthy suburb. We've looked at the filings, funding levels for police and fire pensions, the escalating percentage of the budget that municipal pensions take up of their respective communities' budgets. It's going to happen everywhere. It's a
Chicago, too?
Chicago's the worst. One of the worst. It's a contagion. Chicago police and fire pensions are 20% funded. That's over, man and woman.
I remember last April, Harvey laid off 40 police and fire employees.
We've reported on every one of these stories, and there are many, many more to come. I don't know what to tell you. Believe the sweet lies if you want. This is the bitter truth place, I guess. You think it's not sustainable. I don't know what $130 billion in unfunded pension liabilities. I don't know how else to explain it. Or these actual real life stories on the ground Why don't you go talk to some firefighters in Cal Park and ask them if it's real, or Harvey, or North Chicago, or Evanston? By the way, we're making national news again because the numbers are so outrageous.
Well, they're astronomical. I mean,
we talked last week about the Park Forest superintendent making $400,000. Park Forest superintendent making 10x the median household income. Household income in Park Forest. How to make a fortune in public education. James Freeman in Best of the Web, Wall Street Journal. Yesterday. Nowhere are taxpayers in greater jeopardy than in Illinois. And he talks about the unfunded liability levels. And then there's the actual stories. Talks about Park Forest, which we talked about last week. He also talks about a community college couple in downstate Illinois. $600,000 last year combined. The power couple of Lewis and Clark Community College, Dale and Linda Chapman, made a combined $690,000 last year. 2 community college employees. Former Chicago Mayor Richard Daley, he gets a $140,000 pension just for his 8 years of service in the Illinois General Assembly before he became mayor.
So he's double dipping.
Yeah.
Or is it, how much is he getting for mayor? Pension, I'm sure it's
it's another couple $100,000 at least, and with the kickers every year. And you can't even get people to agree to eliminate some of these pension systems, the 3% annual COLA, which is not a cost of living adjustment, it's an annuity. And when was the last time we had 3% inflation? Even that would start to bend the cost curve. That's simple reform. And you can't get agreement on that from the public sector union bosses and from the handful of cowardly Republicans milling about, not to mention the Chicago Democrat crime bosses. They don't care. But they care about you. You keep voting for them. They care about you. They got your back. Do they? They don't. Math is coming for you. And it's coming for you, unlike the politicians, right from the front. You're going to get stabbed in the front by math while you've been stabbed in the back by politicians in this state. 94,000 public employees and retirees in Illinois command $100,000 salaries from taxpayers. Worst governed state by the numbers in the history of America. And the reaction is what? Mott's. Mott's. More of the same. Okay. Good luck with that. Bruce in Bloomingdale.
Hey, how you doing, guys? I opened my property tax bill a little while ago, and I actually looked at the line items. 65% of my property taxes in DuPage County, $6,000 a year on 1,100 square foot cracker box, are going to pay pensions. 65%. They line item it out. And I can do basic math. I may not be that smart, but I can do basic math. And every 2 years, they come back for more money. Every 2 years. Pretty soon, it's going to be 80%. And they tell us it's for the kids. We got a village manager out here making $200,000 a year in salary after he did 20 years as the police chief of the same town. When he retires, his pension's going to be almost $180,000 a year.
Of course.
And lifetime medical benefits.
Right.
It's highway robbery.
They game the system. This is the system we set up. And
I want this gig.
Yeah, well, right.
I want this gig.
Thanks for the call, Bruce. I mean, it's going to be 65%, it's going to be 85%, but then it's going to be zero. You see what I'm saying? That's what's coming.
I'm sick of my property taxes going up to pay for their pensions. I appreciate my firefighters. I love them. I love my police officers. But I am sick of having to pay for other politicians' sins and fraudulent use of our tax dollars. I mean, what were they thinking when they set this system up? Because someday the checks are going to bounce, guys. The direct deposits, not going to be there. Do you have a pension coming? Do I have a pension coming? No. I have a little pension coming with
401k.
With my after SAG.
Yeah.
I have
okay.
a little. Enough to pay my phone bill every month.
That's not a defined benefit plan.
No.
Right. Steve in the South Side.
Hey, good morning, Dan. You know, I'm finally glad this is happening. The taxpayers are getting squeezed a little bit. Now they don't pay attention. But when they really start seeing what they're paying for and how much they're paying, that's the only thing that's going to bring some light to this and possibly put an end to it, because no one's feeling the pain. Now, start to feel it.
Thanks for the call, Steve. And look, I'm all for the politicians being first in line. I oppose legislative pensions. I have for a long time. I want to cut legislative salaries and salaries for constitutional officers, make a median household income in the state, and it can only increase when household income does, and only by the same amount. We've talked about the pensions that are racked up by the politicians. Why did they set up the system? Because they're beneficiaries of it.
Right.
They're getting paid off. They're getting paid too. Everybody gets to wet their beak except the taxpayers.
They're lining their pockets. They know what they're doing.
So I'm all for tearing them down too, and taking their a golden retirement, their golden parachute retirement at our expense away, at least prospectively. For the politicians, if I could do it retroactively, I would. But prospectively is what we're talking about. And the public sector union bosses and a lot of the rank and file just don't want to hear it. Okay, then don't hear it. No problem. Not for me. Eric in the South Suburbs.
Dan, Amy, hello, how are you doing? Amy, if you remember, you and I had lunch a long time ago at the Piggery.
Was that after prom?
Yes, it was after her prom.
After prom, yeah, sure.
How are you?
At any rate, I was a firefighter in the South Suburbs for a number of years. The South Suburbs are a sinking ship, and I could probably rattle off a half a dozen fire departments that have gone either defunct completely or have been absorbed into a giant fire protection district, which is a different kind of governmental body. But at any rate, it started out, 30 years ago, it started out with small unincorporated fire departments that could not sustain themselves. They protected unincorporated areas of Cook County, small neighborhoods. Those, were taken over by municipal fire departments. And, I could give you a half a dozen names of departments in the recent past that have just said, look, our business model is not sustainable anymore. We have to either consolidate, and part of it is the pensions. There are a number of other, problems that contribute to this, but it's a warning sign. And, a lot of departments in the South Suburbs that depend on a retail tax base aren't getting that taxation anymore. When businesses pull out or downtown areas just become boarded up for whatever reason, the fire departments and other municipal divisions suffer as a result.
Thanks for the call, Eric. Appreciate it.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. More details emerging from GM's massive restructuring and massive layoffs. Midwestern farm bankruptcy on the rise. Those stories next.
Stocks and options trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Hey guys, it's Scott Bauer here, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Are you looking for a super hot stock tip? Here at Prosper, we are always looking for exciting opportunities in the markets. And right now, all my students are salivating over this stock we are watching. In fact, I've got this hot stock written down right here, and I'm about to text it to you for free. I just need to know where to send it. Simply text HOT to 48542, and I'll text it to you instantly. How do I know this stock is so hot? Well, I'm a former CBOE market maker for Amazon Options, former vice president of Goldman Sachs, and I have over 25 years of professional trading experience. I'm telling you, this stock is hot. But be warned, the stock may move soon, so you need to claim it before it does. Text HOT to 48542, and I'll text you this hot stock instantly. Text HOT to 48542, and I'll text you this hot stock instantly. Message and data rates may apply.
Yesterday's sobering announcement by General Motors dramatically cutting production in the United States and Canada, cutting thousands of jobs, still reverberating through the auto industry and the market. GM says it will cut 14,000 jobs overall, reducing its executive ranks by 25%. The entire restructuring will cost about $4 billion. Economic reports today include Standard & Poor's Index of Home Prices and the Conference Board's November Index of Consumer Confidence. The Minneapolis Federal Reserve Bank says the number of Midwestern farms filing for bankruptcy is rising. Low prices for soybeans, corn, and other products caused 84 farms to go bankrupt in the past year, a trend that hasn't yet peaked. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
The school year started just a short time ago, but it's not too late for your son or daughter to get the outstanding education and preparation for life that St. John's Northwestern Military Academy offers with their ongoing enrollment program. For years, St. John's Northwestern Military Academy has served young men and is now an excellent co-ed environment. Not a school for troubled kids, but one that will prepare young men and women for college by focusing on rigorous academics and leadership with a safe, secure, and structured environment free from distractions that's conducive to successful learning. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin inspires personal growth through a commitment to excellence in academics, spiritual and character development, athletics, and their military traditions. And there's still time to enroll your son or daughter for this school year. Call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET or visit their website sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Today is Giving Tuesday, so think of someone other than yourselves and help those in need. And we'd love for you to help us this year with our 10th annual Christmas campaign to help those less fortunate. Again, this year we are teaming up with Food for the Poor to help feed those in need in Haiti. Our goal is to provide food for a year and water for life for 3,000 children. It'll take just a second to make. We're asking for a one-time donation of $80. So call this number, 844-862-HOPE. That's 844-862-4673. Or simply just go to 560theanswer.com/food and make a donation.
And we really need leadership from the business community on this, our successful entrepreneurial folks that listen to the show. The Business Benefactor Program is how you can more meaningfully participate and derive some benefit for your business. With this program, any business that makes a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor receives, as a thank you from us, 40 60-second commercials that run Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., so our prime broadcasting hours. Runs on these airwaves, your 40, 60-second commercials. To enroll in this program, call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette, at 847-472-8951. Again, Ann Jeanette at 847-472-8951. You can also go to our website, 560theanswer.com, search the keyword food, and we've always relied on our successful entrepreneurial friends to lead the way with respect to us hitting our goal of feeding and providing water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti. And we're relying on you again in 2018.
And really, it's the best way. If you're the marketing manager, if you make decisions for your company, it is the best deal in all of Chicagoland radio. $2,500. The money goes to Food for the Poor. It's tax deductible, and we will give you 40, 60-second commercials. It's a great way to take your business to the next level. Tom Sadeka, he's one of our original business benefactors, and he's doing extremely well. We've had a lifelong partnership with him since then. So do something for others. Help your business as well. Call Ann Jeanette. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Being a government bureaucrat or a member of the government press corps means never having to say you're sorry. A Sterigenics in Willowbrook update at 7:07.
And what's next for Christine Blasey Ford? She speaks, but here first is Mike Scott.
3 U.S. service members killed. Fox with the latest. WIND Chicago News Time,
It's
7.
the last vote in the midterm elections. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Senate runoff in Mississippi, where the polls are now just opening.
I believe that I am the candidate to take Mississippi into the third decade of the 21st century. I'm talking about jobs and health care.
Former Democratic Congressman Mike Espy challenging Republican Cindy Hyde-Smith, who was appointed to replace Senator Thad Cochran.
I will continue to stand up for the conservative values of Mississippi.
President Trump campaigned for Senator Hyde-Smith last night, brought up the migrants in Mexico.
We're sending a clear message to the caravans and to the trespassers. Turn around, go back home.
Hundreds rushed the border trying to get in near San Diego Sunday, driven back by tear gas. Thousands more remain camped out in Tijuana, hoping to get asylum in the U.S., including Eduardo from Honduras, who told Fox this morning.
It's not easy because, eat good. You eat only one time a day. You're drinking quite a little bit.
Paul Manafort is in hot water again. The former Trump campaign chairman, already convicted in the special counsel's investigation, now accused of lying. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave Manafort has been cooperating with special counsel Robert Mueller since he struck a plea deal in September. But now prosecutors say they'll no longer uphold their part of the agreement because he's been lying. Manafort's lawyers say he's been providing truthful information to investigators. But they've also asked a federal judge in Washington to set a sentencing date. The 69-year-old who's been in solitary confinement can now face additional charges in a lengthier prison term. Dave?
Rachel, the president just tweeted it's a phony witch hunt, that Mueller has gone rogue in the Russia probe. The fake news media builds him up as a saint. The president wrote it's the exact opposite. He's ruining lives. In Northern California, it's now up to 88 people dead in that wildfire that burned down more than 13,000 homes. The number still unaccounted for is down to about 200. This is Fox News.
Light snow, clouds, 22 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A freight train derailment is causing some big problems for Metro riders this morning. Inbound trains on the BNSF line will not be stopping at the Cicero station during the morning rush after a derailed train damaged platform canopies. Passengers who normally board inbound trains at Cicero are advised to use either the Laverne or Halsted Street station or take the CTA's Pink Line. Tens of thousands of ComEd customers in Chicagoland furious this morning. They're still without power after a major winter storm pummeled the area Sunday night into Monday. Utility claims they brought in 250 employees from the East Coast, but 70,000 customers still do not have power as of late last night. Company believes the vast majority of them will have service restored in the next 24 hours. Search is underway for the driver of a truck left hanging over the Chicago River on the southwest side. Video showed the driver running off after a Ryder truck crashed into a bridge last night near Archer and Ashland Avenues. Parishioners and families with students at 8 archdiocesan parishes in Chicago are set to learn their fate of both their churches and schools tomorrow. Sun-Times says the Cardinal will announce which parishes, those in Bridgeport, Canaryville, Chinatown, and elsewhere, will be closed or consolidated. The Illinois General Assembly convenes later today for the final 3 days of its fall legislative session. The focus this week is on the House. It is poised to take override action on vetoed legislation, which the Senate voted to reverse 2 weeks ago, including prohibiting tobacco sales to those under the age of 21. Chicago sports. Spurs over the Bulls at the UC 108-107. Blackhawks welcome the Golden Knights to the UC tonight. On the college basketball schedule, the Fighting Illini take on Notre Dame in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Southern Illinois takes on Colorado State, while Loyola has a big contest with number 6 Nevada in a rematch with the Wolfpack. The news is service of Burlington. Make your Burlington store your coat headquarters and Save on great looks for your family like anoraks, puffers, systems jackets, plus sweaters, scarves, hats, gloves, and boots, up to 65% off. Other retailers' prices every day. Burlington, style for everyone. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
In the last 2 years, this president somehow managed to defeat the mainstream media and the forces of darkness on the left. He managed to get 2 strong judges in the Supreme Court. He turned around a bad economy and put millions back to work. He rebuilt the military, saved sick veterans. He beat back the Islamic terrorists known as ISIS. But these victories are hanging by a thread. Now the real fight begins to keep those gains and get more. It's not time to let up now. Find out what needs to be done. Stick with this station to know more. AM 560, The Answer.
It's the holiday sales event at Ford. It's a big deal, and we're busy making preparations to get you the best deals of the year. Because unlike Santa's presents, ours don't just magically appear. At Ford, ours are built in real factories, where pickup trucks come with best-in-class towing and payload, where SUVs are built with available features like terrain management and driver assist technologies, and where every bolt, stitch, and line of code is tested and tested again. But you don't have to write Santa a letter to get these presents. Naughty or nice, just come see your Ford dealer during our holiday sales event for our best offers of the year. Ford, built for the holidays. Built Ford proud.
Best-in-class towing and payload when properly configured. Class is light-duty pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Hey guys, Ken here from the award-winning podcast Today's Growth. If you had to choose sides, which camp would you rather be in? Would you rather have time and no money, or money and no time? Did you know that 95% of U.S. adults by choice have settled into these categories? Much more interesting is that 1 out of 20 people have built their life around achieving simultaneous control of both time and money. What choices did these 5% make that the others didn't? My friends at Income Store have shown both households and businesses how to build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams for the express purpose of gaining control of time. When it comes to helping folks create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
From now through December, Napa is having its biggest holiday sale ever with hundreds of items at their best prices of the year. Items like a 26-piece screwdriver set for only $17.99. Quality parts, helpful people, that's Napa know-how. While supplies last.
7:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
On the northbound Veterans Memorial Tollway and 53, traffic is jammed from the Army Trail Toll Plaza up to 390 after an earlier crash, and eastbound 390 is heavy from Meacham. Edens Expressway, 26 minutes Lake Cook Junction, outbound 25. Kennedy, 52 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 25 from Montrose, 15 on the Express. Outbound 50 minutes to O'Hare. It's heavy on 190 as well. Eisenhower, 55 minutes, 390 to downtown. 39 from Manheim. Outbound an hour to 390 after the crash there. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 36. The Ryan, 26 minutes, 95 to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy Harlem to the 83rd Street toll from the Stevenson to 31st. From the Reagan toll to North Avenue. Traffic, I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center and our meteorologist Jillian Ford.
Very cold today. Cloudy this morning, then clouds and sun this afternoon. High 25. Clear to partly cloudy tonight and bitterly cold with a low of 12. Very cold with sun tomorrow, followed by increasing clouds and a high of 27. I'm Jillian Ford on AM 560, The Answer.
22 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We talked about politicized science yesterday, which is to say not science. Fear-mongering associated with a particular story that's amplified by a pliant big government press corps. And we have an example of this locally that demands more follow-up. This is Sterigenics, this company out in Willowbrook that sanitizes medical equipment and uses a drug called ethylene oxide to do so. This was a campaign issue in at local level, state level, in the recently passed election cycle, where Democrats berated Rauner, berated the Trump administration, berated Peter Roskam over an alleged, conspiracy to cover up heightened levels, illegal levels of ethylene oxide in air samples around the Sterigenics facility, according to an EPA investigation. Well,
who called for the EPA to investigate, too?
I don't know.
It's all manufactured to me. I don't know.
EPA has since, and this happened over the holiday weekend, so sort of lost in the shuffle, said, might have misstated and mistested as a result, misstated the levels of ethylene oxide in air samples, and said that a clarification is expected. This is in conjunction with the CDC. This local apparatchik for the Centers for Disease Control named Mark Johnson, regional director.
Of the CDC.
He's a CDC official. Regional director for the CDC said Monday he expected a clarification from the EPA, but not a public retraction or formal apology over its erroneous report of harmful emissions of ethylene oxide that led to a warning back in August, cancer warning to residents living in Willowbrook, Hinsdale, Burr Ridge, and Darien. This regional director, Mark Johnson, Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry under the is his official home, if you will. He said Monday, the EPA statement last week that it miscalculated the levels of EO emissions did not mean the figures were invalid or the talk of cancer risks unwarranted. However, Mark Johnson and EPA officials have admitted privately, according to sources that one of the outlets that I started spoke with, DuPagePolicyJournal.com is where you can find our story. Johnson and EPA officials admitted privately that even if the now discredited data had been accurate, only someone who had never left their home for 33 years straight would have an increased cancer risk, and even then only slightly. This faulty cancer warning that was issued not only was a political football, it's generated, obviously, great fear among the residents of these communities. It's generated lawsuits brought by the Attorney General's office of the state, Madigan, and Bob Berlin's DuPage County State's Attorney's office against Sterigenics.
Well, and then it spreaded this paranoia of, oh my gosh, little Johnny's got headaches. I remember watching Channel 5 saying, he's had these chronic headaches. Maybe it's because of Sterigenics and what they're spewing out of their plant to clean medical equipment, plastic medical equipment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, then it snowballed into like, should I go running if I'm a resident Burr Ridge? Or am I going to be harmed? I mean, they are so fraudulent. If they need to make a public apology to everyone, and I'd love to hear from somebody from Willowbrook, from Burr Ridge, from Hinsdale. 312-642-5600's our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment of what they went through. I mean, people were worried about they'll never be able to sell their homes now. It created a lot of fear and pandemonium.
Sure. The discredited report by Johnson, Mark Johnson, was posted on the internet without a formal announcement on Wednesday, August 22nd, on a conference call 3 days later, including officials from the EPA, Illinois Department of Public Health, DuPage County Health Department. Sources say Johnson apologized to village officials for his report's release, saying it was intended for internal use only and based on worst-case scenarios. He said there was actually no immediate health risk to residents of Willowbrook and surrounding communities, but he wouldn't state it publicly because he wasn't authorized to do so. Well, he wasn't authorized, apparently, to release the report either and to whip the public into a frenzy, but he didn't have a problem with doing that. At an August 29 town hall meeting, Johnson said that in opening remarks, he did not anticipate the report would be released, and he was, quote, hoping to clarify some of those conclusions. But, he was confronted by a bunch of hysterical and angry residents. I mean, understandably. There are people asking if they should let their children play outside. And so rather than admit that he was the responsible party for whipping people into a frenzy without foundation, he just recoiled. Kwame Raoul. This is September of this year. I've met with these residents and heard about their fear for their families. As a cancer survivor myself, I find it unconscionable that anyone would ignore a documented carcinogenic threat. Bruce Ronro's Willowbrook residents answers and an apology.
I love how they made it political. I mean, unbelievable.
Political science gets a political response from the politicos.
I'm a cancer survivor. I mean, shame on him.
And, hey, you know what, though? Being wrong means never having to apologize if you're a government bureaucrat, a partisan one, or if you're a partisan member of the Chicago Press Corps. This little toad, Michael Hawthorne, who's written a bunch of fantastical stories for the Tribune on the topic.
I've never even heard of him.
It doesn't matter. Fungible. Feeding, being hand-fed and spoon-fed by the Mark Johnsons of the world. He tweeted yesterday, "The problem hasn't magically disappeared, despite what Dan Proft and his financial backers want you to believe." It's so funny, because we wrote stories about this, exposing the fraud that was committed on the people of these communities and the state, voters. Dan Proft and his financial backers. Boy, it sounds like Michael Hawthorne and his financial backers for the Tribune are a little nervous over his ersatz reporting. Yeah. As well they should be.
Squirmy there, huh?
What do Michael Hawthorne and the Tribune and his financial backers at the Tribune have to say about what we know Mark Johnson and EPA officials admitted privately but don't have the courage to say publicly, lest anybody have to take ownership for mistakes? Mistakes make themselves in government. They're not made by people. How about that? What do you have to say to all those people who were whipped into a frenzy, to those politicians who seized on people's fears, Kwame Raoul, Sean Casten, Spalding, to the unwillingness of the Tribune to get the facts so you have a correct record, and when you didn't, when you turned out to be wrong and you turned out to be a purveyor of agitprop for this Mark Johnson, correct the record. Can't do that.
And I'm always curious about the timing. Right before the midterm elections, somehow got leaked, turned into something political.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. What about all the trial lawyers, with billboards and circular trying to get people to sign up to class action lawsuits against Sterigenics? Yeah. Putting a business out of business, too. Do you care about the employees at Sterigenics? Big operation.
Yeah, it's huge.
There are other companies, too, that use ethylene oxide who could also be in the crosshairs. Fourth branch of government, regulatory agencies. Fifth branch of government, the big government press corps. Steve in Downers Grove, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I had a senior position with the DuPage County Health Department. And if you're expecting them to do anything of any significance, good luck. They are inept, absolutely inept, totally driven by a board of wannabe Republican leaders. Let me ask you a question. When's the last time you knew anybody that went to the DuPage County Health Department for a health or medical service? Never, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Never.
I don't know.
I mean,
yeah.
Find out. Nobody ever goes. So to rely on them to solve any public health problem is absolutely a joke. And the whole health department is a joke. Thanks, Dan. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks, Steve. Tony on the south side.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy, my lammy lamb. Listen, this is how Tony from the south side does a field study test on something like this. I imagine Surgeon's been around for 30 years or so, whatever, a while they've been there, right? They got employees that work there, correct? If none of the employees got cancer, then there's your study. Boom. End of story.
All right, Tony.
Have a good day.
Tony, wait to be contacted by the CDC for a senior level post. Very
They have
good.
stores. I mean, they have a Sterigenics International Inc. in Schaumburg, a cleaning service in Deerfield. They're all over our metropolitan area.
Great piece by two doctors in realclearscience.com. Junk science has become a profitable industry. Who will stop it? Dr. Stanley Young, who's a statistician at National Institute of Statistical Sciences and member of EPA Science Advisory Board. Henry Miller, who's a physician and molecular biologist, senior fellow at the Pacific Research Institute. They talk about what we've talked about before, how you have data dredging, harking, hypothesis after the result is known, science that's bought and paid for, the results that are bought and paid for. This is the corporate level, but this is also at the political level. There's a political agenda to be served by generating certain results, and there's profit motive that's at play in academic institutions and research institutions that have a particular political agenda. Junk science has become a profitable industry. Who's going to stop it? Maybe by exposing some of these frauds, these rushes to judgment, the fear-mongering, the unwillingness to correct the record when it turns out you were wrong. That's really telling. Maybe people will start to approach some of these stories and these scares with the healthy skepticism that unfortunately too many erstwhile scientists don't.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get a $79 furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Oh, you know I love MyPillow and how it's changed the way I sleep. So when I heard about the new MyPillow mattress topper, I couldn't wait to try it. Now I don't know if I love MyPillow or the mattress topper more. It's that good. And you can get a great deal on a MyPillow mattress topper and start getting the best sleep of your life. The exclusive 3-layer design includes the MyPillow foam for support, transitional foam to help relieve pressure points, and this ultra-soft patented temperature-regulating cover. It has a 10-year warranty and a cover that's washable and dryable. It's made in America and has Mike Lindell's 60-day money-back guarantee. You'll get the total body support you need and sleep better. And right now, you'll save 30% when you use promo code Amy. Plus, if you get that MyPillow mattress topper, you'll receive 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free, or you can still receive the buy one, get one free offer if you just want the MyPillows. So visit MyPillow.com. They have sheets, they have pillowcases, pet beds. It's all there. MyPillow.com. Type in Amy and get 30% off your entire order. Or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had cancer. I have fibromyalgia. I have nerve damage and fatigue. I have thalassemia. I'm hypoglycemic. So my life since cancer, I've had to learn how to live with it But starting Balance of Nature, I felt it the first month. I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank. I'd like to thank our customers for selecting Signature as their trusted banking partner to help build their businesses. We started Signature in 2006, and we've had the opportunity to meet so many hardworking Chicagoans. From third-generation family-owned businesses on the west side of Chicago to tech innovators at 1871. Signature Bank is proud to work across many different industries in the city and beyond. As the fastest-growing, independently owned business bank in Chicago, Signature is always welcoming new customers. I'd love to meet you and learn about your business.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
You know what today is, Dan? It is Giving Tuesday. We had Cyber
Hashtag.
Monday. Yeah, hashtag. Don't forget your hashtag. No, you don't.
You got to be cool.
Don't you hashtag me.
Got to hashtag it. Hashtag Giving Tuesday, and we've got a way for you to satisfy hashtag Giving Tuesday.
Yeah, a gift of $80 will provide food for a year and water for life for a child or an adult in Haiti. And we've been doing this for 3 years now, but we've had this campaign, a Christmas campaign like this for 10 years. And we always rely on you, our listeners, to help those less fortunate. $80, you can make a donation on behalf of a well-fed child or grandchild, and this donation will go a long, long way. Food for a year and water for life. And how you can help out is call this number, 844-862-4673, 844-862-HOPE. Operators are standing by. You can have a credit card ready. It will literally, I do it every year. I donate, and it takes 1 to 2 minutes. That's it. Keep the conversation short. Make your donation. And then, or you can also go to 560theanswer.com/food. And that's a great way to make your donation and to help the lives of others.
Goal this year for our campaign, meaning AM 560, Food for the Poor, and you, is to provide food for a year and water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. Why not help Americans instead of focusing on Haitians, you might ask? Well, there's good reasons for that. One is we help other people in other lands because we are so fortunate to be Americans. It's just part of our ethos. Number two is people in this country don't starve to death. People in Haiti do starve to death. They do lack the basics in terms of food and water. And Food for the Poor is this most excellent charity. That's not me saying it. That's Charity Navigator saying it, 5 stars. 95 cents of every dollar makes it to the recipient. Highly efficient, so you know your money is being used for the expressed intent. And this is about building infrastructure for sustainability to, in the medium term, not just save, but improve lives and allow people to be self-sufficient in Haiti to improve that country.
I mean, just think about it. You can go to a park, Dan, or walk into a mall and drink out of a water fountain. They don't have that. There's literally hardly any clean water to drink. Everything has to be bottled water. Their government is corrupt. There's no safety net. The only way that has kept them alive, people and children, is Food for the Poor. They have a large complex in Port-au-Prince where people line up every day to get immunizations, to see a doctor, and to get food and to get clean water.
And Amy knows because she's actually been there, so she's seen it firsthand, which is why we're calling on our friends in the business community to join our business benefactor program. Any business that makes a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor receives, as a thank you from us, 40 60-second ads that will run Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. on our airwaves, so primetime hours to market your business. any business that wants to get involved with the Business Benefactor Program, all you have to do is call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette. 847-472-8951 is her number. Again, 847-472-8951. Ann Jeanette is her name. 847-472-8951 is her number. You can also go to our website, 560answer.com, and search the keyword food.
Yeah, and any questions you have for her, it's a great way, again, to take your business to the next level. Best deal in Chicagoland in terms of radio advertisement, $2,500, 40 60-second commercials as our way of saying thanks. So call her, and even if you have any questions, she'll be there, 847-472-8951. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The left is tearing up over the use of tear gas at the border. We'll discuss with Mark Krikorian, the executive director of the Center for Immigration Studies, at 7:37.
And later, if you feed your cat what, you could go to jail. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Some light snow in the area, mostly cloudy skies. We're at 22 degrees at 7:30. We're following two developing stories in Afghanistan this morning where 3 U.S. service members are dead following an explosion and IED that went off near Ghazni, southwest of Kabul. Meantime, a U.S. Army Ranger in Afghanistan was killed over the weekend, likely accidentally shot by the Afghan forces he was training. Officials with a NATO-led mission say Sergeant Leandro Jasso of Washington was killed Saturday during a joint U.S.-Afghan training mission, then assault on al-Qaeda forces in western Afghanistan. A runoff election is slated later today in Mississippi as voters head to the polls to pick the next U.S. senator from that state. Republican incumbent Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith is favored in her campaign against Democratic opponent, former Congressman and former Agriculture Secretary Mike Espy. A freight train derailment is causing some problems for Metro riders this morning. Inbound trains on the BNSF line will not be stopping at Cicero Station after a derailed train damaged the platform canopy yesterday. Passengers who normally board at Cicero are advised to use either Laverne or Halstead stations or the CTA's Pink Line. Tens of thousands of ComEd customers in the Chicago area still without power after a winter storm pummeled the area into Monday afternoon. As of last night, 70,000 ComEd customers are still in the dark. Chicago courtroom is set today for the trial of 3 Chicago police officers accused of covering up another officer's involvement in the shooting death of 17-year-old Laquan McDonald. Coach Mike Ditka recovering after suffering a mild heart attack last week. Multiple reports say the iconic former Bears coach has been released from a Florida hospital. Iron Mike doing well at home. He turned 79 last month. Chicago sports, DeMar DeRozan 21, Spurs over the Bulls at the UC 108-107. Blackhawks welcome the Golden Knights to the UC tonight. College hoops, Fighting Illini take on Notre Dame in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. SIU takes on Colorado State tonight. It's a big NCAA tournament rematch. Loyola takes on number 6 Nevada. The news, a service of Pearl's Olives. Olives are festive and fun as an appetizer or in your favorite recipes. Stock up on Pearl's Olives in the olive aisle at your favorite Mariano store. Listen to the Pearl's Holiday Station for a chance to win $100 in Visa gift cards. Go to betterwithpearls.olives.com. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager says the angry mob has nothing to be angry about.
They won. The angry mob of the left won. So it's hard to have an angry mob anymore. The anger has dissipated somewhat. This is also something that will be interesting to witness.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt?
Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know. The credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people, they're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-518-4020. 800-518-4020. That's 800-518-4020.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I have more energy. I can get up and get going. I can do things I couldn't do. I can walk in the store instead of jazzy. I can clean. I can do things I haven't done for 8 years since I had the failure and had been on dialysis. It's helped me to walk. It's helped me to do heavy laundry, to clean my house, to feel like I'm not dying all the time. It just gives me it's helped so that I'm not depressed and sad and worried all the time. And mainly it has given a new boost in life. I really believe in it. I love it.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
7:36. Let's get a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
In Bartlett, closures remain of Army Trail from 59 to Peters Door, fallen cables, and Munger. Stearns to Forest Preserve, down tree, eastbound Reagan Tollway. Now seeing delays from 31 to Eola, Winfield to 355, and Highland to Tri-State. Northbound Tri-State delays from Harlem to the Mylong Bridge, Stevenson to 31st, from the Reagan Tollway to the O'Hare Oasis. Northbound Veterans Oriole bottled up, Boughton to the Reagan Tollway and Roosevelt to 290. Southbound 53 from Higgins to 390. Aiden's 24 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy 56 minutes, O'Hare to downtown quicker than the Express. Eisenhower 55 minutes, 390 to the Circle. Stevenson an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Very cold this morning. Clouds and sun this afternoon will top out at 25. Clear to partly cloudy, bitterly cold overnight, low of 12. Currently 22. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. President Trump certainly wouldn't back down on his commitment to keep the caravan out of this country, border security, and essentially empowering and providing the civilian political backing to Border Patrol to do their jobs yesterday, as many on the left complained about the use of tear gas on members of the caravan, crowds of the caravan, really, that attempted to bust into this country. Trump asked the question by the D.C. press corps before he left for Mississippi, saying this.
Are you comfortable tear gassing children like what we saw before?
They're not, as you know, they're not. They had to use because they were being rushed by some very tough people, and they used tear gas. And here's the bottom line. Nobody's coming into our country unless they come in legally.
And the bottom line from Rodney Scott, who's the chief Border Patrol agent for the San Diego sector, who spoke to CNN, is that people that he and his officers dealt with were not asylum seekers.
So one of our primary missions is to make sure that we keep the border safe and secure.
I kind of challenged that this was a peaceful protest or that the majority of these people were claiming asylum. We ended up making about 42 arrests. Only 8 of those were females, and there were only a few children involved. The vast majority of the people we're dealing with are adult males. Similar to what we saw the first wave of the caravan that came up about a week or so ago, the group immediately started throwing rocks and debris at our agents, taunting the agents. And once our agents were assaulted and the numbers started growing, we had 2 or 3 agents at a time initially facing hundreds of people at a time. They deployed tear gas to protect themselves and to protect the border.
But that was unpersuasive to the ACLU. Lee Gallant, deputy director of the ACLU's Immigrant Rights Project, said the tear gas was excessive.
He said if they really were asylum seekers, they would have walked up with their hands up instead of, he says, throwing rocks.
Yeah, well, look, no one wants any border officer to be in danger. But from what we know, this was an overuse of force. I mean, there are women and children out there. Using tear gas in this situation does not seem justified. We are investigating the facts on the ground. But the Border Patrol has a history of using unnecessary force.
Well, force that was directed under President Obama, because during his time in office, 56 times tear gas pepper spray was used along the border.
Well, the ACLU would say that was excessive then, too. What the ACLU won't say is what they think Border Patrol should do when dozens, if not hundreds of people bum rush their officers to try and get into this country illegally. That was the question, the follow-up question not asked of Mr. Gallant, to no one's surprise, on CNN. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Mark Krikorian, who is the executive director for the Center for Immigration Studies. Mark, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So tear gas excessive or not excessive in the circumstance?
I mean, that's an absurd lie. I'm sorry. This was not people lining up to apply for asylum. There was a protest, people with signs, let us in, that kind of thing. Normal protest to Mexico. It was in Mexico, and they just, allowed it. They weren't doing anything. But of the protest, several hundred guys apparently broke off, pushed past the Mexican police, essentially assaulted the police to try to rush through the border crossings, were stopped there. Instead, then, they found a gap in the fence because they're repairing the fence there, and dozens of them rushed through rocks and bottles at the Border Patrol officer. Officers. There was a mob, and they broke up the mob without using their guns. Nobody was shot. They used non-lethal methods. The idea that this is somehow outrageous is itself outrageous. It wasn't like a kindergarten class, and they were, using tear gas on them. The tear gas was the kids and the women were most of them in the protest itself that wasn't rushing the border, but the wind carries this stuff the way it does. I mean, this was not only perfectly legitimate. This showed amazing restraint on the part of the border officers.
And once they got through, they arrested 42 people, 8 females and just a few children, correct?
Right, because the people rushing the border and then trying to sneak through that opening in the fence figured, this is their chance. They're going to go for it. If they were actual asylum seekers, their names would be on the list. They might have to wait a few weeks to get their turn for an interview. But these guys didn't want to wait. And frankly, part of the reason they didn't want to wait is because they know that they have no claim for asylum. The Central Americans are using an asylum claim as a way of getting past the border. They know they're not going to get it. They want to be released into the U.S. so that they can then disappear.
No, I mean, given this story, it's sort of interesting, the juxtaposition of this story. The Honduran president's brother, Juan Orlando Hernandez's brother, arrested in Miami, charged with drug trafficking, not just with drug trafficking, but frankly being a drug kingpin in Honduras. So, I mean, this is not to say that the cartels in Mexico and in Central America aren't real, and there may not be some asylum seekers that are seeking asylum for political or religious reasons targeted by the cartels or what have you. But we're supposed to distinguish those individuals from economic migrants, and the D.C. press corps just seems intent on conflating the two issues.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, asylum, the bar for asylum has to be kept kind of high because otherwise everybody in the world would apply. You would be eligible for asylum. Right. The fact is you have to be persecuted personally by your government because of your race, your religion, nationality, political opinion, or what's called membership in a particular social group. If you don't qualify, in those. For instance, if what you want is just a better job because your country is poor, or even if you're fleeing violence, that's not grounds for asylum. And yet, under Obama, they started giving asylum, or at least an initial bite at the apple for asylum, way too broadly. And anyone who applied was released into the U.S. with, a piece of paper saying, show up 2 years from now. And that created an incentive to come. Why wouldn't you? Back in 2014, this is when this broke in the news, I sent a team down to South Texas, and one of my guys there talked to a woman from El Salvador who had brought her kids up, and she literally said, we saw on CNN, we were watching CNN in El Salvador, and they were saying that if you bring kids with you, they let you go. And so we figured we'd give it a try.
Wow. Speaking of children, I mean, the picture that Reuters took of a migrant mother fleeing the tear gas with her 2 children, one's in diapers. Do you think that was staged? I mean, her name is Maria Mesa, and she claims, she told NBC's Gabe Gutierrez that she wasn't crossing the border illegally, but trying to seek asylum.
Yeah, I don't think that was staged. I mean, I think she was probably at the protest. But a couple of questions. Why would you be schlepping 2 kids? Actually, she brought 5 of her children with her, is the way she put it. 5 of her children. Those were the younger ones with her. Why would you bring them to a protest? Why didn't you take up Mexico on its offer of asylum, as a couple of thousand of these caravan people did? Yeah. I'm sorry, but these are people who either have relatives here or they figure they're going to be able to get a job here, and they're not seeking safety. They're seeking they're economic migrants. Look, asylum is like you're drowning and you're going to grab at whichever life preserver is closest to hand. If you're not grabbing the closest one, you're not desperate. And these people turned down Mexico's offer of asylum and said, heck with that, we're going to go for the U.S. I'm sorry, there's no excuse for that.
Yeah, you know who would like an offer of asylum, and I'm a little bit ashamed that Trump has not extended one. I'm going to keep beating this drum. Asia Bibi in Pakistan.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is a cut and dry case of protection. Now, technically, you have to be in the country or at a port of entry to claim asylum. But what we could just do is admit her as a refugee. I mean, there's no reason. I don't understand why we haven't made a big deal of that. Now, there are other countries that have also extended an offer of asylum to her. The issue is, how does she get out of Pakistan? I'm hoping that what the issue is we're trying to talk behind the scenes with the Pakistani government and get them to let her go, because she can't leave Pakistan. They took her passport.
Right, but I mean, what an opportunity it would be for him to make a public call to on the government of Pakistan. And oh, by the way, there are a lot of financial strings that could be attached to this, that we will provide safe harbor to Asia Bibi. We're sending a special forces unit to get her, so have her ready. And it would be such a teachable moment for Trump with respect to this country about what our asylum is for versus what's happening on the border.
No, I agree completely. My only qualification is it could be they're working with the Pakistanis to get her out behind the scenes. Sure. Because, if you make a big deal of it, then they're going to dig their heels in and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? So You might be right. Maybe Trump is blowing this, and, wouldn't surprise me. Look, the guy can do that. But I'm hoping that we're actually working behind the scenes to get her out of there.
Yeah, and are there any other caravans that are on the way to the U.S. border?
Yeah, there are reports of several caravans on the way, although it looks like the Mexicans are getting more serious about stopping these things, because this has been going on for several years, not just Central Americans, too. It's Africans and Asians and others. And the Mexicans basically just waved them through. As long as they were going to the U.S., they don't care. Be out by sundown, and otherwise they don't care. Now that they're backing up at the border, the Mexicans aren't real happy about it. Not the mayor of Tijuana over the weekend. He went to a protest with a red baseball cap that said, "Make Tijuana great again." And so they're ticked off about this. So the Mexican police down in southern Mexico are doing a better job of stopping this. But apparently there's a bunch of people sort of, en route. And so there's more people coming all the time.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the de facto head of the Democrat Socialist Party, tweeted yesterday that asking to be considered a refugee and applying for status isn't a crime. It wasn't for Jewish families fleeing Germany. It wasn't for targeted families fleeing Rwanda. It wasn't for communities fleeing war-torn Syria. And it isn't for those fleeing violence in Central America.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of dopey thing I would expect from somebody like this. The fact is, these people are not fleeing genocide. They're not even real refugees, and they're already in Mexico, which has its own asylum system, which has offered them the ability to apply for asylum and has given it to several thousand of these people already. So, sorry, but this is, everything is not the Holocaust, and it demeans people who actually went through that. Demeans my own grandparents who lived through the precursor to the Holocaust, the Armenian genocide, to somehow compare people who are trying to get a better job to people who are fleeing for their lives.
And it seems to me the best play in response to that sort of sophomoric sentimentalism is, okay, what's your proposal? I want to understand what exactly your plan is and what you think the implications are, because the left gets away with this sort of sentimentality, specious as it is, because they're never held to say, I'm for open borders and I want to abolish ICE. I mean, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez will admit it, but we need to continue to allow her to amplify her position.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's really the issue is what is your limiting principle? In other words, you're saying in this case, this person should be able to get in fine. Where would you draw the line? What are you willing to do to enforce immigration laws? And I actually have a piece up on National Review Online this morning, basically making the point that even though the Democrats deny that they're for open borders, they're actually against every measure to enforce immigration laws. So they are, in fact, objectively speaking, they are for open borders. They need to come out and admit it. I mean, there are people I've debated, honest people who say they are, in fact, for open borders. Okay, that's a plausible position. Come out and be honest about it. The problem is the Democrats are for open borders, but they're unwilling to say it.
He is Mark Krikorian, Executive Director for the Center for Immigration Studies, and you can catch his work routinely, as he mentioned, nationalreview.com. Mark, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me, I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
Famous Winston Churchill quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Winston Churchill brilliantly stated, "One man with conviction will overwhelm 100 men who have only opinions." That statement qualifies as eternal truth.
It's important we support companies that share our conservative values. If you are a manufacturer, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. As a software and systems integration company, Automated Systems creates custom solutions to make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 500 or a startup, Automated Systems delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you, man, to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit automatedsys.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
Let's think about customization presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Liberty Mutual customizes your auto insurance so you only pay for what you need. So why aren't more things in life customizable?
Why isn't a burger cheaper when you ask for no onions? I don't want them, so shouldn't you deduct the price of the onions, right? Otherwise, I'm paying for the onions, but I'm not receiving any onions.
Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, equal housing insurer.
Protecting data across modern decentralized networks presents challenges that traditional backup solutions can't handle. At best, you'll waste time and money managing multiple solutions. At worst, gaps in coverage will leave your data vulnerable. Barracuda Backup is a single cloud-integrated solution that simplifies the backup process and allows data replication to anywhere on your network, a private cloud, Barracuda's cloud, or to the AWS public cloud. Reclaim your data. Try Barracuda Backup free at barracuda.com/backup.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Arizona's Republican Governor Doug Ducey earned 44% of the Latino vote en route to his easy re-election. No hand recount for Governor-elect Ron DeSantis in Florida, who garnered 44% of the Latino vote and 14% of the black vote. The 400,000 Florida kids and 260,000 Arizona kids who benefit from school choice, the majority from minority families, are reshaping the GOP's electoral coalitions in those states. White guilt author Shelby Steele argues this occurrence is more than a powerful argument for school choice. It's a messaging imperative for conservatives. As Steele told me, black families have moved beyond the idealism of the civil rights era to search for pragmatic answers to economic concerns the welfare state not only failed to address, but worsened. By contrast, Champaign socialists in the leafy suburbs are in search of a moral calling. The Black Lives Matter yard sign in the lawn of your local Mayflower descendant should have been a tip-off. Bottom line, we've been making the wrong arguments to the wrong constituents. Fiscal conservatism has limited appeal to the vanguard class, as does pantomiming Al Sharpton with minority families. For the latter, it's money they lack. For the former, to borrow from James Earl Jones and Field of Dreams, it's money they have and peace they lack.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, earlier we talked about yesterday's funeral for Officer Jimenez, and I misspoke. Dana Less, the pharmaceutical student, she had a funeral in Lansing yesterday, laid to rest in Libertyville. And Dr. Tamara O'Neill, her wake is Thursday, and her funeral will be this Friday in LaPorte County.
All right, very good. This year, this holiday season, we're partnering again with Food for the Poor and a campaign to provide food for a year and water for life for 3,000 children in the Western Hemisphere's poorest country. That would be Haiti, of course. A gift of just $80 will provide food for a year and water for life for one person in Haiti, one of the 3,000 that we need to provide food and water to do our part as good Christian soldiers and so forth, at least for me. And the way you do that, participate at the individual level, is call 844-862-HOPE. That's 844-862-4673. And you'll be prompted for your donation. And again, $80, food for a year, water for life for a child in Haiti.
And it really is hard to describe the level of poverty. It's unlike anything one would ever see. 1 in 14 children, Dan, will not live to see their 5th birthday. So Food for the Poor provides water, food, infrastructure system, medicine, clothes, other life-saving essentials directly to local groups on the ground that literally have nothing, that are starving to death. And I know that people say, well, we should donate here to causes in the United States. No, we have a safety net in place, the government. We have a bunch of programs that can help, and philanthropic organizations and churches and charity. Yeah,
and by the way, donating to Food for the Poor is not exclusive. You can make other charitable donations too. We encourage you to do so.
And if you are an owner of a business or make the marketing decisions for your company, we have a great deal for you. It's called our Business Benefactor Program, and this is what we're asking for: a one-time donation of $2,500. It's tax deductible. The money goes to Food for the Poor. And as a way of saying thank you, we will give you 40 60-second commercials that will air prime time here Monday through Friday from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. Dan could voice your commercials. I can. Whoever you want. You can even have Justin Kosick voice your commercial.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's the best way to introduce yourself to advertising on the radio, and it's the best deal in all of Chicago. $2,500, and you get 40 60-second commercials as a way of saying thanks. To become a business benefactor, and you're going to want to do it today, we want you to call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette, her direct line, 847-472-8951. If you have any questions, she can answer them. I know we have a number of advertisers who began as business benefactors, and now their companies have, look at Tom Sadeka and Precision Payroll. We have to,
We have to genuflect every time he comes into the studio now.
Exactly.
That's how powerful he is.
So you want to call Anjanette 847-472-8951 and ask for the Business Benefactor Program. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
While Paul Manafort is singing Jailhouse Rock, Trump had his blue suede shoes on in Tupelo, Mississippi. We'll discuss with Pete Hegseth, Fox and Friends weekend host at 8:08.
And you'll never believe, cat lovers, if you feed your cat something, you could go to jail for it. We'll tell you what that's all about. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
ComEd still restoring service for thousands of Chicago area customers. Truck found hanging over the Chicago River. Deadly fire in Carroll Stream being investigated. Spurs top the Bulls. Blackhawks host the Golden Knights and a big night in college basketball ahead. Cold and cloudy this morning. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
He's doing tremendous damage to our criminal justice system. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump tweeted about special counsel Robert Mueller, again calling the Russia probe a phony witch hunt, writing Mueller's horribly and viciously treating people, ruining lives. This after Mueller accused former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort of lying to the FBI multiple times instead of cooperating with his investigation.
Mueller's office argues in a filing that the government will also file a detailed sentencing submission to the probation department and the court in advance of sentencing that sets forth the nature of the defendant's crimes and lies, including those after signing the plea agreement herein. Manafort claims he's been truthful.
Fox's Ed Henry. Manafort's already been convicted of bank and tax fraud. 3 American troops are dead in Afghanistan. The U.S. military says they were killed in a roadside bombing in the eastern part of the country. 3 other service members wounded. President Trump's again told the migrants in the caravan camped out in Mexico to go home.
Nobody's coming into our country unless they come in legally.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal live near the border in San Ysidro, California.
Dave, it was quiet here Monday after some members of the Honduran caravan rushed the border Sunday, but the Border Patrol's still on edge, knowing each day things can change.
We weren't surprised by this. We certainly expected a mass incursion at some point, and we were ready to deal with it.
That's Joshua Wilson with the Border Patrol Union. Many are unhappy with the migrants, though, including people who live in Tijuana.
People say we are racist because we don't like them, because we don't like how they act. Where I live, they leave a mess when they pass.
Others who've been in Tijuana for weeks waiting to apply for asylum say they're upset that their actions ruined things for everyone, Dave.
Jessica, it's election day again in Mississippi, a Senate runoff.
I've worked very, very hard for you.
Republican Cindy Hyde-Smith's seat is being challenged by Mike Espy, who says he's a Democrat, but...
I'm from Mississippi, so I'm never going to vote like Chuck Schumer might.
This is Fox News.
Cloudy skies, 22 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A freight train derailment causing some problems for Metro riders this morning. Inbound trains on the BNSF line will not be stopping at Cicero Station after a derailed train damaged platform canopies yesterday. Passengers who normally board at Cicero are advised to use either Laverne or Halstead or jump on the CTA's Pink Line. Tens of thousands of ComEd customers in and around Chicagoland still without power, still without heat, after a winter storm pummeled the area Sunday night into Monday. As of last night, 70,000 ComEd customers still do not have power. Search is underway for the driver of a truck left hanging over the Chicago River on the southwest side. That Ryder truck crashed into a bridge last night with the cab hanging over the side of the railing near Archer and Ashland Avenues. Chicago police are investigating after a woman was beaten to death on the far south side. Police tell us it happened inside of a home in the 300 block of West 115th. The Illinois General Assembly convening today for the final 3 days of the fall legislative veto session. Vetoes awaiting in the House are on the legislation prohibiting tobacco sales to those under the age of 21 and requiring online vehicle sharing services to meet rental car companies' safety standards. DeMar DeRozan, 21, helping the Spurs over the Bulls, 108-107 last night. Blackhawks tackle the Knights. Fighting Illini set to battle Notre Dame in the ACC Big Ten College Basketball Challenge, and Loyola will take on number 6 Nevada. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Apple shares are skidding before the Wall Street Open. The apparent response to President Trump discussing possible tariffs on iPhones. If the stock declines, it could drive down the Dow. United Technologies shares are expected to rally after the company said it would spin off its Otis elevator and carrier business to focus on aerospace. Along with announcing nearly 15,000 job cuts and eliminating the Chevy Cruze, Impala, and other models, General Motors is planning a new car. The future Cadillac crossover will be produced at GM's plant in Spring Hill, Tennessee, starting in 2019. The factory already produces the crossover Cadillac XT5 and GMC Acadia midsize SUV. The Dow Jones Industrials added 354 yesterday, NASDAQ up 142, S&P gained 40. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
One thing became painfully apparent this past election cycle. There are forces out there trying to destroy the America we know. And guess what? Those forces are still there. The election didn't change that. All this election did was restart the clock. In 2 years, we'll have to stand up and do it all again. Are we going to let the forces of darkness take back this country? Or are we going to stand up and fight for what's right? Stick with this station to get your marching orders. AM 560, The Answer.
All right, if your roof's needy, you can
Call Grumweedy.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. If your roof is leaky, if the shingles are curling, or if your roof isn't right after storms, then you need to call Crumweedy with roofing companies. And the difference is, of course, installation. Now, Crumweedy, they know that. And that's why they follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact. And many companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty. If you hate high-pressure sales tactics, not from Crumweedy. They give you good, better, best options. You make the choice, no pressure. Crumweedy is a roof that lasts at a fair price. Now, Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy, they lead this third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953. Now, they fix roof problems, so if your roof is needy,
Call Grumweedy.
That's 630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. They're online, of course, at myroofisneedy.com.
It's the holiday sales event at Ford. It's a big deal, and we're busy making preparations to get you the best deals of the year. Because unlike Santa's presents, ours don't just magically appear. At Ford, ours are built in real factories, where pickup trucks come with best-in-class towing and payload, where SUVs are built with available features like terrain management and driver assist technologies, and where every bolt, stitch, and line of code is tested and tested again. But you don't have to write Santa a letter to get these presents. Naughty or nice, just come see your Ford dealer during our holiday sales event for our best offers of the year. Ford, built for the holidays. Built Ford proud.
Best-in-class towing and payload when properly configured. Class is light-duty pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
It's 8:07. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
We are seeing huge delays on northbound 53 from around Rand Road up to Old McHenry. Traffic signal issues. Eastbound Lake Cook is jammed. Approaching Arlington Heights Road with a crash. North Aurora, Randall Road Bridge is closed over the Reagan Tollway with down power lines. Romeoville northbound Weber is closed. Taylor 135th with a crash. Northbound Veterans Memorial Tollway. Stop and go traffic. I-55 most of the way up to 290. The other tollways are very heavy as well. Kennedy, 50 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower, an hour, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Jillian Ford.
Today, very cold and cloudy this morning with a high of 25. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy and bitterly cold with a low of 12. Tomorrow, very cold with sun followed by increasing clouds and a high of 27. I'm Jillian Ford on AM 560, The Answer.
22 at O'Hare, 23 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
For the show, three to get ready now. Go, cat, go, but don't you step on my blue suede shoe.
Dan and Amy, young Elvis went down to Tupelo to campaign for Cindy Hyde-Smith. Special election today, and
President Trump's a looker, huh?
he was shaking his hips.
We love Elvis. I shouldn't say this. You'll say I'm very conceited because I'm not. But other than the blonde hair, when I was growing up, they said I looked like Elvis. You see that? Could you believe it? I always considered that a great compliment. We love Elvis, don't we? In fact, we just gave Elvis the Medal of Freedom Award at the White House.
Who's the they that said you look like young Elvis would be my follow-up, but
His imaginary friends.
it was
Those guys there in the corner. Hey, buddy.
it was a
Hey,
positively
amigos.
Trumpian moment. I'm just so glad he
fantastic.
didn't wear the jumpsuit. A little afraid the jumpsuit would come out, but I'm glad he resisted that, and I think his visit down there is going to help Cindy Hyde-Smith win a victory going away today. For more on this topic and also some news about our military, I want to get his take on. We're pleased to be joined on his inaugural visit. Pete Hegseth, you know him. He's the weekend host of Fox and Friends, co-host. He's also a Fox News political analyst. You've seen him many times over the years, and now you watch him on the weekends on Fox and Friends. Also a military veteran, and distinguished military career, and I want to talk to him about what happened in Afghanistan. Pete, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan, Amy, thanks for having me. Great to be here.
So just came over the transom this morning. 3 soldiers killed when an IED went off near Ghazni City in the southeastern province of the same name, Ghazni, in Afghanistan, and just wanted to get your take on our continuing military presence in Afghanistan.
Obviously, the mission in Afghanistan, an honorable one following the attacks in 9/11. No one would say otherwise. But I served there in 2011, 2012. I was kind of charged with looking at and explaining the strategic situation in a lot of places. And even then, it was clear that the Taliban was gaining support in the south and the east and the southeast, and amongst a lot of the institutions quietly through shadow government and shadow structures. I'm not optimistic. It's not clear what our mission is there, and the amount of troops we have there are not sufficient to roll back the gains the Taliban have made. They've infiltrated the army. They've infiltrated the police. They want to be a part of the political process. The future in Afghanistan, unfortunately, is going to include the Taliban. It will be in a hopefully more political form, but history doesn't show us that that's usually how it works. Our job should be to prevent anything like a 9/11 haven from being allowed to be created there. But again, the Achilles heel in the mission there remains the same. It's Pakistan. It's a country nearby where those that wish us harm have more or less have had safe harbor, and we've had a fake ally there since they declared they were on our side after 9/11, even though they really have never been truly. So these types of attacks, I'm glad you're covering it. I'm glad Fox News covers it, because every one of these lives lost is an American patriot who went over there to fight them there so that we don't get hit here. But we are definitely suffering from major strategic drift there, and I don't know what a good end state actually looks like.
So, Pete, when you were there in 2011, 2012, what was your mission then?
I was a senior counterinsurgency instructor. So I was a platoon leader in Iraq. At this time, it was not a direct combat tour for me. I was teaching Afghans and Americans about the insurgency, about the nature of the enemy, how to conduct actual effective counterinsurgency operations in where they were in Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. And looking at all the information, all the intelligence, it was clear then that the threat was gathering. It had already been gathering. But from the beginning, we tried to build a national army, a national ethos, a national government. Afghanistan's never had any of those things, nor is it set up for that. So I think those institutions quickly become hollow and directed toward whatever the West wants them to look like. But the Taliban, which knows the local populations, knows the local leaders, is able to infiltrate those real power systems and take control of them, hence the sort of shadow government and shadow structures that exist there. So I think we're going to be there, but we should be there in a minimal sense, in a counterterrorism sense, to kill terrorists when they gather in too large of groups, and that's about what a good outlook's going to look like.
Another military and diplomatic matter I wanted to get your take on. Yesterday, martial law imposed in Ukraine after Russia seized 3 ships. The demand for the ships to be returned, the sailors to be returned. The Ukrainian President Poroshenko warning of a serious threat of a Russian land invasion. Your assessment on that threat, but also in terms of what the American response to Putin should be.
Well, America's response to Putin should be the opposite of what it was in 2014 when he seized Crimea. Now, the result of that seizure is that they've built a 12-mile land bridge from Russia proper to Crimea. They control that strait, and that's where those Ukrainian ships were detained. He's going to keep taking what he can take because he wants control over. He wants to squeeze Ukraine. He believes they should be back in the former USSR. I mean, Ukraine was a valuable jewel of that former Soviet republic. He wants it back. I think we should be giving them weapons. We should be giving them moral support. Maybe we should symbolically send our ships through that strait with Ukrainian ships, saying to the Russians, "This is international waters, and you're not allowed to do that." But this president also has taken a different approach with Putin, wants to work with him on certain things, and has been, I think, just cudgeled by the media in a false way, obviously, over the Russia investigation, like he's some sort of a friend of Putin. I think this would be an opportunity to show even more how strong he is. I mean, but Ukraine's got responsibility here, too. I mean, they're tough folks, but they're not members of NATO. They don't have a real collective response, and it's unclear what they'll be able to do. So I do think we have to take a strong stance symbolically up front and then push Putin back.
And Trump, who will be meeting with Putin at the G20 at the end of this month, that's an opportune time to weigh in. Yeah,
the G20 summit in Argentina, he should just not talk to him. He should ice him out. Don't you think that'd be a good way
that
to
would be a traditional way to do it. But I think what Trump has said is you don't get anywhere if you don't talk. And that's why he's been willing to talk to folks like Kim Jong-un. It may or may not work, but I don't think that's usually not the type of approach Trump wants to take. And this is all about Vladimir Putin. He did this because he wants the focus to be on Vladimir Putin when the world leaders meet. So I don't think we want to get distracted off of other big issues, but I do think a stare down is important. Maybe that is a snubbing, but if not, it needs to be a clear face-to-face that they're not going to be able to slowly take even more.
And just spinning the wheel and landing on another adversary, China. The president, despite the layoffs announced by GM yesterday, and they had announced back in July with the imposition of tariffs that it was going to add $1 billion of cost to their bottom line. So some, myself included, arguing that the layoffs at least had something to do with artificially increasing the cost of doing business through taxation. Trump still, in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, saying he is willing to put in 10 to 25% tariffs on another $250 billion worth of Chinese goods if there's not some sort of accord that can be reached with President Xi, either at the G20 or sometime in the near term.
Listen, I think he's right, because I think our president should be charged with taking the long view. And the long view is going to come with difficulties that affect real people, jobs truly lost, industries truly hurt in the short term. But I think the longer-term benefits the industrial base, the workers of our country who have been utterly screwed by a slanted world where China can take advantage of us, take our jobs, and sell us cheap stuff back that we can't manufacture. But not just the cheap stuff, the big stuff like steel and the major industries. So I think he's right to do it. It's easier for me to say as a commentator who's not directly affected in my industry. So I totally get that, and there are electoral consequences in 2020. But if he really does think our trade imbalance is a national security threat, and he's willing to stare it down, and he would like no tariffs, and he said that. But China has been surfing on being an advanced economy that calls itself a developed economy and gets to have it both ways. And at some point it has to stop because they are our geopolitical number one foe. They are seeking to replace us. They have a very different view of what the world would look like if China was in charge. If you don't start taking them on now, you never will. And I love the fact that Trump is doing that.
Let's move on to the border real quickly. A lot of Democrats and those, in left-wing media saying that it is a shame what President Trump is doing, tear gassing women and small children. How do you think we're defending our border?
I think he's doing what he has with the tools available. Congress hasn't fixed it. You know what the shame is the Republicans and the Democrats of the past who have talked a big game about the border, but all they've ever really wanted was amnesty. All they've ever really cared about was allowing illegals to be a part of our process, whether it's sanctuary cities, whether it's voting, whether it's welfare benefits, college benefits. And you've got all the folks that voted for Trump and others around America who say, whoa, what about my kid? What about the inner cities that are war zones? What about the places that are forgotten in our country? We need to have rules and we need to have laws and we need to take care of that. So I think this is an important piece of symbolism. Media, of course, jumps on the shiny object of tear gas and stuff like that, but and pepper spray. These are realities of Border Patrol agents charged with protecting our border. I'm shocked by the fact that at this location, it's the largest port of entry in our country, we still have antiquated fencing. Like, how is that not the first place that you replace the border wall? But it all comes down to appropriation, what can or cannot be done. And sham politicians have lied to us for decades about securing the border, and they haven't done it. Again, yet another showdown this president is willing to have that has short-term images that the media will like to portray to make him look bad. But those that have listened to what he's had to say, have supported him, understand why he's doing it. Without borders, you don't have a country, and we're staring at a modern Democratic Party that is calling for the abolishment of ICE, that their only answer is let all the refugees in, let all the migrants in, let the illegals come in and stay, and then give them sanctuary. That will be litigated in 2020. It's happening right now on our television screen. It needs to keep happening. This bold stance is again, I don't think he's doing everything perfect in every way. There are ways you could say things differently or do things differently. But his own institutions are trying to prevent him from securing the border. So he's saying, listen, I'm going to do what I got to do.
Now, I wanted to run this rumor we heard about Fox and Friends by you, see if I could get a response. The word is that you and Steve Ducey are going to be secretly married in front of the Constitution, sort of a ratings gambit. I don't know if that's true or not. If you would like to comment.
I cannot confirm or deny that. I can't.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Anything for ratings.
That's fair. I had to ask as a professional.
I do love Steve Ducey.
That's good.
But what about Brian?
Way.
Where's Brian?
Yeah,
Can he
don't
be my?
Tell him.
Hey,
what about Don't Tell Kill Me?
But you do have a show on Fox Nation. Tell us about.
Correct. That. I mean, Fox Nation is launching today. I'll tell you, I'm in the building at Fox News Channel, and you know when you're in your office and it's just one of those days where there's a buzz. Mm-hmm. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's excited. Everyone's got the app and looking at the new shows. Fox Nation is the new online streaming subscription service launched by Fox News, where if you love what you get on the channel, but you feel confined by the certain shows and certain times and commercials, you can go online in your app, download Fox Nation for I think it's $6 a month, and you get behind the scenes way more stuff. Now, for example, for me, that means we're doing a documentary on the hunt and capture of Saddam Hussein. Just a few years after that, talking to all the operators that were a part of it. So that's going to air on the channel as a long-form documentary you can get. And I tell you, seeing what we've done already with it in the interviews, it's riveting and really interesting stuff behind the scenes. We also filmed a Modern Warriors special on Veterans Day on Fox News Channel where I sat down with Marcus Luttrell, the lone survivor, Rob O'Neill, who shot bin Laden, Dakota Meyer, who has the Medal of Honor, Sean Parnell, who led the longest combat tour in Afghanistan. And we just sat around the table and talked about what war is like, what it's like to be a vet, transition. Again, confined to 60 minutes on the channel. It was a great special. But if you get Fox Nation, you see all the behind the scenes. We've got an extended 20 minutes. There's also not all those pesky FEC violations you can have for saying certain words or talking about certain things. Online, you can have a much more candid conversation with vets about their military experience. So an extended cut of Modern Warriors will be on there. And then I'm doing a panel at the Reagan National Security Forum in California in a couple of days. That will be live streamed. And then a lot of guys and gals on our network have exclusive shows too. So there'll be new shows you can get every day. I just watched this morning the primetime highlights. It's kind of a sports center for Hannity's show, Tucker's show, and Laura's show.
Yeah.
And it's hosted in the morning. It comes out at 7 a.m. So if you miss those shows, you can catch up in 8 minutes and see the big stuff. So it's a neat new initiative. It's the future of where TV is going. Everyone's cutting the cable. And Fox realizes that. And Fox Nation is an opportunity to get the next level.
Very good. He is Pete Hegseth. He is Fox News senior political analyst, the host of Fox and Friends, co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend. And as you heard, new premium content. Download the Fox Nation app to get all of the content that Pete was just describing and more. Pete, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys. You
Take
got
care.
it.
And good luck. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've been on the Balance of Nature for about a year. I feel great. I never get sick anymore. I used to get bronchitis and stuff. I feel like my skin is better. My face has no lines in it. For some reason, I mean, it's helping my appearance, too. Not like I'm a bad-looking guy. It's just that I'm a nice-looking guy. But the thing is, I could see the features in my face getting younger. It's an amazing thing.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints in the spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. It's really kind of cool.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
If you're interested in refinancing your existing home or investment property, then you need to call Team Hochberg. Today, meet George from Bucktown. He was so happy with his refinance, he wrote this review. Quote, I'm very pleased with the way my Team Hochberg loan officer, Anna Eckroth, and Team Hochberg helped me and my family secure a new mortgage within 2 weeks of signing the application. Everything was done in an efficient and professional manner, and I was thrilled Team Hochberg secured me an appraisal waiver, which saved me a lot of time and money. I was able to secure a lower rate and save a couple $100s a month. I'll definitely refer everybody I know to Anna and Team Hochberg, end quote. So if you're refinancing your home or investment property and would like your loan processed in the same professional manner as George, then call Team Hochberg Mortgage Experts right now at 312-751-1333 for a free consultation or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358, NMLS 19186.
Smartphones, smart cars, smart thermostats, smart security systems. It's like our everyday items are getting, well, smarter than us. Take your home to the next level with custom smart window coverings from 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO. With the touch of your finger on your smartphone or the sound of your voice with your Alexa device, you can create the right lighting and ambiance in every room. Give your home an easy and affordable makeover. 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO knows window coverings. They know blinds, shades, shutters, and precise installation. But they really know how to make your family home a comfortable place and for a lot less than you'd expect for custom window coverings. New blinds or shades can help with heat reduction, privacy, and make you fall in love with your home all over again. With an in-house installation crew, you can count on a personal touch and quality custom blinds with 1-800-4BLIND-CHICAGO. Connect directly at 1-800-4BLINDCHICAGO.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and again, want to introduce you to our holiday campaign 2018. We're partnered with Food for the Poor again this year, as we were last year. Hit our goal last year. We'd like to do it again this year with your help, and that's to provide food for a year and water for life for 3,000 children in the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. Of course, I'm speaking about Haiti. One way you can participate on the individual level is make an $80 contribution. That provides food for a year and water for life. Food for a year and water for life for a kid in Haiti for just $80. Pretty good deal, and a pretty cheap way to do something profound for another human being. Call 844-862-HOPE, 844-862-4673, or go to our website, 560theanswer.com, and search the keyword food.
And it's really important to help people who are in need. I mean, a lot of these people, and I've met them, they are so grateful and thankful for your contributions. Last year, because of your generosity, we were able to turn a small town called Saban Cabrit. It's not even a town, but it's just an area where people live, you know, in small shacks made of mud and sticks with dirt floors, no electricity, no access to food or clean water. And because of your generosity last year, we were able to turn that small village around. Now they have clean water. They have a filtration system in place. They have homes that are fortified, that have washrooms in it, believe it or not. And it's just, they're touching stories of how they struggle for hope. And without food for the poor and your donations, there would be nothing. There would be a lot of people who wouldn't be able to make it. 1 in 14 children do not live to see their 5th birthday. And Food for the Poor offers immunizations. They help when there's severe outbreaks of cholera. They are there for these people. It's God's work, what they do. So we're asking for that one-time donation of $80. That's it. Make a donation on behalf of your well-fed child or grandchild or sister or brother or spouse. But also, if you're a business owner, listen up. We have the Business Benefactor Program, $2,500 tax-deductible donation. The money goes to Food for the Poor. And as a way of saying thank you, we give you 40 one-minute commercials that will air right here Monday through Friday, prime time on AM 560, The Answer. And it's the best thing you could do if you want to, attract more customers. And who doesn't want more customers, right, Dan? And the way to do that is to call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette. Call her directly at 847-472-8951. That's 847-472-8951, and ask about the Business Benefactor Program.
Coming up, what are conservatives to do as more conservatives are banned from Twitter and other social media? We'll ask CNN political commentator Steve Cortez at 8:38.
But now straight into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We have cloudy skies and 23 degrees. Explosion in Afghanistan this morning has claimed the lives of 3 U.S. service members. The Pentagon says the NATO Resolute Support Mission is reporting that 3 were killed, another 3 severely hurt when an IED device detonated south of Kabul. Former FBI Director James Comey and former Attorney General Loretta Lynch are now under subpoena by House Republicans. In previous tweets, Comey has said he'd resist any closed-door hearing, while Republican Representative Jim Jordan, who sits on the House Judiciary Committee, says that would be fine. An open-door hearing is okay, but he'll also want to hear from the Deputy Attorney General.
I think a lot more important is to have Rod Rosenstein come testify for the first time since we first learned that he was talking about wearing a wire to record the President of the United States and invoking the 25th Amendment, and we've yet to talk to him.
The subpoenas require Comey and Lynch to testify during separate hearings next week. A large number of the nearly 6,000 Central American migrants camped out at the U.S.-Mexico border in Tijuana are unsure of what to do next. Some migrants are looking into seeking asylum in Mexico. Many are worried they'll be deported. President Trump is sticking by the use of tear gas to disperse a crowd of mostly adult males rushing the border in San Diego Sunday.
Tear gas is a very minor form of the tear gas itself. It's very safe.
U.S. Border Patrol officers used the pepper gas to drive back hundreds who tried to rush the border fence. NASA scientists celebrating now that their latest probe has landed safely on Mars. They've already received a photo of the Martian soil from the InSight lander. NASA Administrator Thomas Zurbuchen.
It worked flawlessly. I mean, it was textbook. Frankly, it's incredible how well it worked.
NASA scientists say it shows InSight is resting on a level patch of ground, and nothing will prevent them from getting right to work. Here in Chicago, tens of thousands of customers of Commonwealth Edison are still in the dark and still without heat. After a winter storm pummeled the area Sunday night, the utility has brought in workers from the East Coast to help local crews restore service. As of last night, 70,000 customers still are in the dark. Parishioners and families of students at 8 Chicago archdiocesan parishes are set to learn their fate about their churches and schools. Sun-Times says the Cardinal will announce tomorrow which parishes in Bridgeport, Canaryville, Chinatown, and elsewhere will be closed or consolidated. Spurs over the Bulls at the United Center, 108-107. Blackhawks and Golden Knights set to take the ice tonight at the UC. College hoops tonight. Fighting Illini tackle Notre Dame in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Well, it's a big rivalry game as Loyola takes on number 6 Nevada in an NCAA tournament rematch. The news, a service of Burlington. Make your Burlington store your one-stop holiday shop. Save on great gifts for everyone. Watches, gift baskets, wireless audio, sweaters, drones, toys. The brands you love, up to 65% off other retailers' prices every day. Burlington, gifts for everyone. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager sees a huge change in America.
The founders are so tainted now. The left has taught so many young Americans that they were racist and they were rich white males who owned slaves. And that ends their greatness. Fools are teaching our children so often.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me, I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. See Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com as someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Are you a fiduciary? If you're the owner or officer of a company sponsoring a corporate retirement plan, then you are a fiduciary. Why is this important? As a fiduciary, you may be held personally liable for breaches in your 401k plan. There has been a recent surge in lawsuits related to excessive fees and fiduciary breaches targeting 401k plans, their owners, and officers. One of our newest charity golf benefactors, Clear Financial Strategies, is your retirement plan CFO, bringing together a specialized fiduciary compliance and management team to help prevent potential lawsuits, all at competitive costs. Discover if your 401k contains any hidden fees or risks, and how Clear Financial Strategies is a registered investment advisor that's a true fiduciary. Professionals placing your interests first. I suggest you request Clear Financial Strategies custom report on company retirement plan risks. Visit my401krisks.com. That's my401krisks.com. Do it today, my401krisks.com.
8:36. Let's get an update on the morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
Northbound 53, traffic is stop and go from the Adams Tollway to Northwest Highway in Dundee to Lake Cook. Crash out eastbound Lake Cook causing big delays. And northbound 53 to Long Grove, traffic signal issues. Southbound 53, like Beesterfield to 390. Veterans Memorial, southbound stop and go 290 to Army Trail. Northbound to Boughton Toll much of the way to 290. Eden's 24 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction. Kennedy 48 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower an hour 390 to Circle, 42 minutes to Manheim. Stevenson an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eastbound Reagan Tollway, heavy Randall to 355 and 83 to the Tri-State. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cold and cloudy today. Bit of sun may peek out this afternoon and a high of 25. Bitterly cold overnight, low 12 above, currently 23. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show. Tune in on Saturday mornings at 8 to learn how you might fight foreclosure and keep your home.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. 14,000 jobs being cut at GM, 5 factories being shut down, and Trump none too happy about it, saying this yesterday before the press corps and before he jetted off to gyrate his hips in Tupelo.
I spoke with her when I heard they were closing, And I said, this country's done a lot for General Motors. You better get back in there soon. That's Ohio. And you better get back in there soon. So we have a lot of pressure on them. You have senators, you have a lot of other people, a lot of pressure. They say the Chevy Cruze is not selling well. I say, well, then get a car that is selling well and put it back in. So I think you're going to see something else happen there, but I'm not happy about it. Their car is not selling well, so they'll put something else. I have no doubt that in a not too distant future, they'll put something else. They better put something else in.
He also told,
sounds like a threat to me.
Yeah, he also told her, CEO Mary Barra, that she doesn't know who she's messing with respect to the president. Sort of uncomfortable for the president to be attempting to dictate terms to a private American company with respect to facilities, product lines, employment, really any matter. And yes, as we've talked about this before, it was also distressing to me when GM was bailed out by taxpayers. I don't support mercantilism on either side of the equation. But certainly the $1 billion in cost that was added to GM's bottom line by the steel tariffs over the summer, as per GM's CFO at the time said in July, that doesn't help any when you are trying to make the math work at a multinational American corporation like GM. For more on this topic and others, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Cortez, CNN political commentator and a former head of Trump's Hispanic Advisory Council. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Thanks for having me.
What about Trump's saber-rattling over the GM announcement?
Yeah, listen, I don't like the specific targeting of companies. I certainly agree with you. I don't like industrial policy in general. I think that government should create conditions for firms to thrive. Singling out individual companies, like, for instance, the way he did with Harley-Davidson, I think that's unfortunate. I don't like it. GM is a different scenario because the taxpayer did bail out GM. So I do think that there's a different responsibility. There's an additional onus on General Motors. But in general, look, I do love that the president fights for American workers, and I get that, and I love that spirit. But I'm definitely more libertarian than is the president, and I'm on the libertarian end of sort of the Trump movement. And I just want to create conditions in America, sensible regulation, low and restrained taxation that will encourage American companies to do the right thing and to produce and thrive here in America. I don't want to single out specific companies for praise or for criticism.
Well, do you think it's the tariffs or the fact that people aren't buying the Chevy Cruze, the Cadillac, the Buick LaCrosse, the Chevy Volt? Is that a possibility because they're leaning more towards SUVs and pickup trucks,
Right.
things like that?
It seems to me that it's the latter. And look, I'm no expert at all on the auto market, but I do know this, that the auto market made essentially bets, multi-year bets on oil prices remaining very high for a very long time. As long as a decade ago, started making those kinds of bets in terms of their designs and their factories. And that hasn't happened, thankfully, mainly because of American fracking, which succeeded and thrived in spite of the government, by the way, not because the government made it easy for frackers and for hydraulics to revolutionize energy in America. As a matter of fact, government made it hard, but thank goodness American innovation, as it often is, was so dynamic and so successful that we've actually had sustained, pretty low oil prices, notwithstanding this summer where they did, spike some. They've actually crashed in recent weeks. But on the whole, the great news is oil prices, particularly adjusted for inflation, have remained quite low. And because of that, it's one of the reasons that, look, Americans love big cars anyway. We like big everything, right? But big cars have been reasonably affordable because oil has been reasonably affordable.
So, all of these things are multivariate equations, but you add $1 billion to anybody's bottom line in terms of cost, and you're going to change their decision-making, perhaps expediting their decision-making. And so, given that, again, the issue of Trump continuing to suggest that more tariffs will be imposed on Chinese goods if there's not an agreement with President Xi in the near term. And it certainly is unlikely that something will quickly come together at the G20. So we're talking about probably first quarter of next year at the best. And doesn't he risk really slowing down economic growth and limiting one of his favorite talking points about how well the economy is doing if he doesn't remedy the relationship with our trading partners, frankly?
Right. No, listen, I think we do jeopardize near-term growth. Now, I think it's for long-term prosperity. And I think it's extremely important that we achieve symmetry in our trade relationship with China, with a lot of countries, but China by far is the most egregious example of where the United States has been totally abused and American workers have been taken advantage of by both U.S. multinationals and by the Chinese who benefit from the current incredibly unfair imbalance relationship. So the way I view tariffs is, look, they're a terrible thing. It's sort of tariffs, though, to economic policy are, to me, what military action is to diplomacy. We never like military action. Nobody wins. It's expensive. It's costly. It's dangerous. In economic terms, all of that's true of tariffs. But if we try to negotiate, particularly with dishonest actors like the Chinese, and take tariffs off the table, take the punitive part off the table, we're never going to get anywhere, and we're going to continue doing what we've done for a quarter century, which is essentially export American wealth, particularly from the people who can least afford to suffer, working-class Americans, to China. So I think, unfortunately, the reality of tariffs is that while they are costly and while they do damage specific companies and industries like autos, long-term, I think the threat of tariffs has to be real for us to get to the place we need to be in terms of actual fair and free trade, which we just simply don't have.
Something else we haven't tried in 25 years or in, 225 years is being unilaterally free trade and taking the position that if the Chinese want to hurt their people, we're not going to respond by hurting our people. We're going to let them hurt their people, and we're going to derive the benefit of it by being a zero tariff environment, which is wealth creation because you've just reduced taxes you've reduced you've increased the purchasing power and thus the ability for the creature comforts, the availability of them for the American people. So what about taking that approach, which we've never taken, rather than phony baloney trade deals like NAFTA, where you take 1,200 pages to say free trade?
Right. Well, yeah, listen, and I think that's an important point. We don't have free trade with anybody. When media talks about the free trade crowd, we have very managed trade, and that's just the reality. I would argue it's been managed, and certainly the president would argue it's been managed very much against American interests, or at least the interests of American workers. Here's the thing. In theory, I agree with you, Dan, that unilateral free trade does make sense very long term. But in the near term, the dislocation to American workers is so severe, and the societal ramifications are so severe, that I'm not sure it's worth the risk of trying that, even though, I agree, actually, long term, we'd be a more prosperous country if we went unilaterally free trade. But does that mean that we can stand over the next, say, 5 years or so, the dislocation of perhaps millions of American workers who presently make good livings not be able to make good livings?
Why would that?
Until China falls on its face, which it will, it can absolutely undercut, because they're not worried about profits, it can undercut a lot of competitors in America.
If you believe capital flows to the areas where it's treated the best, why wouldn't more capital flow to the lowest tax environment available, which would be a zero tariff free trade America?
It will eventually, but again, because the Chinese part of that equation, because they're not motivated by profit, they have many motivations. Profit's only part of it. They will be able to undercut American industries for considerable periods of time. And by the way, I think this is largely what's happening. I mean, the Chinese experiment, I think, is already starting to fail. Certainly, financial markets believe that right now. Chinese stocks and Chinese debt and so forth, trades miserably. So I think the Chinese experiment is failing slowly but surely. However, that doesn't mean that in the meantime they weren't able to cause enormous pain to American industries and to American workers, and again, to the people who can afford it the least, working class, blue collar people. So, again, there's an important reality here that doesn't necessarily jive with long-term economic prosperity. And again, I agree that long-term we'll be a more prosperous country if we're unilaterally free trade. But it's also important to note that the U.S. is not a company. We're not only interested in the maximum return on investment. There are a lot of other considerations to a country to making a country prosperous and safe. It's not only about maximum economic output. And I would argue that one of those considerations is facilitating and trying to encourage working class people being able to make a reasonable living without very sophisticated skills. I think that's important for a society. It's important for our cohesion.
And speaking of the stock market, GM stock was up yesterday a few percentage points because of that. Does that surprise you at all?
No, and that's the unfortunate reality. A lot of times, listen, I've worked in financial markets for a long time. shareholders like cutting workers. I mean, that's just a sad reality, because often companies, when they cut workers, they're getting more efficient and better use of robotics, or shifting those jobs to somewhere cheaper. So unfortunately, what's bad news often for workers is good news for shareholders. And so I'm not terribly surprised, that was the reaction. But I do also think it will be interesting. Clearly the president has GM in his crosshairs right now, and he does have a lot of sway. Both the bully pulpit and actual policy. It'll be interesting to see what happens with GM. My guess would be they're going to in coming weeks and months make some pretty public moves to show that they're investing in the United States. And again, I don't like targeting companies for praise or for criticism. I think it's a bad idea. But I do also like the fighting spirit that the president is at least showing American workers that he truly cares about their well-being, and that this was a really disappointing for them, an incredibly disappointing piece of news, and right in front of Christmas, on top of that.
For a domestic dispute like this between the president and GM, one of the four generals that governed America once upon a time, do you think the best person to resolve this dispute, to adjudicate it, would be Chicago's very own, by way of Cincinnati, Jerry Springer, who is launching a Judge Jerry program this fall? Yeah, Judge Jerry. Going to be
Judge Judy's going to be retired soon.
Well, Judge Jerry should be retired soon. He's like 75 years old. But hey, NBC Universal distributing it, Judge Jerry show, fall of 2019. Maybe Trump and GM, Mary Barra, can take their dispute to Judge Jerry, and we could adjudicate it there, because that's sort of where we're at when it comes to this culture, isn't it?
Hey, Trump loves reality TV, as we well know. So he would do fine there. I would hope nobody actually calls Jerry Springer Your Honor.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's true. Steve, I wanted to get your a piece that you wrote about Park Forest. This has become a national story. It's picked up by James Freeman, the Wall Street Journal. We discussed a little bit earlier in the show the $400,000 superintendent in Park Forest, and just what that says about Illinois and why Illinois is in the place it's in.
Right. And listen, this might be the most egregious example, but as you well know, Dan, this is not the only example by any stretch of public employees absolutely fleecing taxpayers, to an almost unembarrassable level. I grew up in Park Forest, my hometown. It was a modest working class place in those days, and still is, but one that's struggling, quite frankly. The average home value in Park Forest is $75,000. Average household income is $44,000. And in that kind of a city of modest means, and I think it's important to name her, Joyce Carmine, the superintendent, earned this year for part-time work $420,000. She will earn $300,000 in retirement for the rest of her life. This, to me, is unconscionable. If a place like Beverly Hills, for instance, or say Winnetka, very wealthy town, if they want to pay their superintendent that kind of money, so be it. I mean, I think it's probably wasteful, but fine. It's at least commensurate with the economic means of the people served. It is the exact opposite in the places that I cite in my article. I specifically cite Park Forest, my hometown, and then nearby Fort Heights, which is actually an incredibly impoverished town. Superintendent of Fort Heights, who oversees one of the smallest school districts in the state, only a little over 400 students, earns $340,000 a year. I mean, imagine that, almost $1,000 per student supervised in his school district. I mean, it's unconscionable, but unfortunately, it's emblematic of what is bankrupting this state.
That is so sad.
I mean,
I'm left shaking my head. I mean, for Fort Heights, do they have to live in district, though? Because if they do, they better have the biggest mansion.
No, there's no residency requirement for superintendents.
Oh,
but
I'm sure, yeah, they probably live in Burr Ridge.
I mean, what do you do at this? I mean, Steve, you're a Chicago denizen. What do you do at this point, really, other than sigh? Because we're just hell-bent on running screaming off the cliff collectively here in Illinois.
Yeah, no, honestly, I wish I could tell you here's the way out because I don't see it. Math is math, and it's pretty hard to fight the math at this point. And the only thing that could save Illinois at this point would be incredible growth. But we're doing the exact opposite in terms of policy, right? We're going toward ever more regulation, higher taxation, allowing or tolerating more corruption, all the things that are anti-growth. Let's face it, I say this in the article, we're America's Greece. We really are economically. Unfortunately, we don't have the sunshine and the ouzo and the islands.
Well, we do
Blue Island.
We don't have the islands. We got the ouzo in Greektown, though. We could go to Greektown for the ouzo for now.
You could ride the Ferris wheel at Navy Pier.
He is Steve Cortez, CNN political commentator and Trump Hispanic Advisory Council head. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
You bet. Have a great day. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Let's think about customization presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Liberty Mutual customizes your auto insurance so you only pay for what you need. So why aren't more things in life customizable? Why isn't a burger cheaper when you ask for no onions? I don't want them, so shouldn't you deduct the price of the onions, right? Otherwise, I'm paying for the onions, but I'm not receiving any onions. Go to libertymutual.com for a customized quote and you could save.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer.
Protecting data across modern decentralized networks presents challenges that traditional backup solutions can't handle. At best, you'll waste time and money managing multiple solutions. At worst, gaps in coverage will leave your data vulnerable. Barracuda Backup is a single cloud-integrated solution that simplifies the backup process and allows data replication to anywhere on your network, a private cloud, Barracuda's cloud, or to the AWS public cloud. Reclaim your data. Try Barracuda Backup free at barracuda.com/backup.
Every time I get an invitation from the AARP, I rip it up with relish. I throw it. I just tear it apart. I just it goes into the trash can with a big sense of purpose. Why? Because I joined AMAC. I don't want to join AARP. AARP was against the tax cuts. AARP sided with Pelosi and Schumer. AARP supports Obamacare. Well, Dan Weber founded AMAC. Less than $20 a year. This organization is now over 1 million members strong. I'm one of them. Go to amac.us or call toll-free 888-262-2006. When you choose AMAC, your dollars go to support your ideals, your values. Like getting rid of Obamacare, protecting our borders, protecting our Constitution. Join AMAC today. Go to amac.us. amac.us. 50 or over, you're going to want to join AMAC. Go to amac.us or call toll-free 888-262-2006. 888-262-2006. Join AMAC today.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke, and I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days, and 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. You know, if I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now, I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
History will look back at President Trump as the president who defined leadership. He's already passed the first major tax reform in 30 years, and unemployment's at an 18-year low. Jobless claims are the lowest since 1973, while the Dow celebrates its highest levels ever. Now, to celebrate these milestone achievements of our 45th president, Noble Gold has minted an exclusive collector's piece, the 2020 President Trump Freedom Coin. One side depicts an image of Donald J. Trump, while the other side lists all his major achievements. This commemorative 1-ounce coin is the only presidential Trump coin made of 99.9% silver, not silver plating, and is IRA approved. As the price of silver rises, so will the value of these coins. Go to TrumpCoin2020.com and use code MikeG or text MikeG to 511-511, and when you buy 3 or more, receive free shipping. Go to TrumpCoin2020.com for the silver 2020 President Trump Freedom Coin, available for a limited time only. Go to TrumpCoin2020.com today. Standard text rates may apply.
AM 560, The Answer.
'Tis the giving season, and today is hashtag Giving Tuesday, and we've got a goal to provide food for a year and water for life for 3,000 children in Haiti, and we need your help.
Yes, we're asking for a one-time donation of $80. That's it, to provide food for a year and water for life. Again, our goal is to provide food and water for 3,000 children in Haiti. Let's do it. Let's help us reach our goal. We rely on you every Christmas season for a reason, because you guys always deliver. To make that donation, 844-862-4673. Operators are standing by. It takes just a few minutes.
And then there's our business benefactor program for our friendly entrepreneurs in the listening audience. $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. And as our thanks, you get 40 60-second commercials that run prime time on our airwaves Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. To enroll in the business benefactor program, call our sales manager, Ann Jeanette, at 847-472-8951. Again, that's Ann Jeanette at 847-472-8951.
And you can also visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword food. And we thank you in advance for your generosity. Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, Quinn McCarthy, and Keith Conrad, our morning zoo crew. We're back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now here is Mike Scott.
ComEd still restoring service for thousands of Chicago area customers. Trial in the Laquan McDonald cover-up case begins today. And the Spurs top the Bulls. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.
It's the deadliest attack on Americans in Afghanistan.